You're a propagandist for the genocide state of Israel.
Whoa. Yeah, you're like a virtue
I'm not
signaler. As long as it makes you feel good, that's all that matters, right? You don't seem to understand that you're taking a country that is
The
built of a
left-wing
population that is a
was full of
population of
Jews.
people who were refugees. The majority of people who live in Israel are refugees from the Arab and Muslim world. The rest of them are largely people who came from the Holocaust or from 1300 pogroms in Russia or from anti-Semitism rising in the 20s and 30s. That's why they're there. And you are treating them like they are just some imperial-backed colony like French Algeria or South Africa or something else. And you think that these people are ever going to be dislodged. There's two things that are never going to happen in that country, okay? One is they're not going to accept being a minority. Never. Not the way that Jews have been treated in the Middle East as minorities by every other Arab Muslim country. They're also never going to leave because they have nowhere else to go. As long as you treat it that way, as long as you ignore the real reality and the lived experience of Jews that created Zionism, as long as you keep treating a genuine movement of people who were refugees, who had nowhere else to go in the world, going to a place and deciding, this is our home. If this is not our home, we die. Yeah, you're a left-wing anti-Semite. Well done.
You act like Zionism is like advocating.
When would a propagandist ever accuse the country that they're propagandizing for of war crimes? Why does that happen?
No, like you like.
They don't, do they? Has Elon Levy ever accused? Has Elon Levy ever accused Israel of committing war crimes?
You can't go full out with keeping your audience because then you'll have like an audience full of Nazis. So you're just slightly
Nazis.
Slightly
Nazis don't like Jews. I don't know if you didn't notice that, buddy.
Huh?
Nazis don't like Jews. I don't know if you didn't notice that. Just so you know, this is the most partisan conflict in the entire fucking world. Obviously, picking a side would be the most valuable for gaining an audience.
Victor Orban, the guy who made an anti-Semitic trope against George Soros, the most anti-Semitic guy, Victor Orban, and then Israel sided with him.
Pick your arguments. No one knows what the fuck you're talking about. Just pick an argument and go with it.
You don't know the famous
Don't try to bombard.
Victor Orban.
Yeah, Israel also is fucking friendly with Saudi Arabia and like other countries that are obviously not particularly great when it comes to anti-Semitism.
But having an ethno-state where like, oh, we will make East Jerusalem 80% Jewish, we'll make zoning plans, we will make sure that the Arabs thing, this is all fine because Jews were prosecuted. But when the Nazis do the same thing in the US where they say, oh, the white population has to be a certain percentage. We have to drive,
what you just did there, okay, you just did a racist talking point. Do you understand that?
How?
Are you going to equate concerns? Are you going to equate concerns of anti-Semitism in the Middle East, no less, with concerns of anti-white racism in America? Do you think these are equally valid concerns? That's something a Nazi would say, by the way. That's something a white nationalist would say. You're making white nationalist arguments now.
Unlike Destiny.
Just so you understand, you just made the argument of a white nationalist by equating those two things.
No,
white nationalists will say, "Oh, Israel gets to be a Jewish majority. Why shouldn't America be a white?" Yeah. Sorry.
Destiny is the one.
Why are you talking about Destiny? I'm addressing you. Listen, advocate for yourself. Why did you just make a white nationalist talking point?
I'm saying that advocating for an ethno-state, no matter who does it, a white person.
No matter who does it. So you think Jewish people should just accept living as an ethnic minority in the Middle East right now when minorities are getting fucked right, left, and center everywhere? You think that's a reasonable assumption? You think there's a reasonable expectation for them to accept that right now?
Oh, not right now.
Oh, so you support an ethno-state, I suppose. Okay, at least a temporary one. Yeah, of course not right now. No one's entitled to it forever. But yeah, when the threat exists, if you know that being a minority is going to fuck you, then yeah, it's probably okay to want to keep your majority. I'm glad you agree with that. You just support an ethno-state. You came in here fucking guns blazing, and now you just advocated for an ethno-state. Well, just because it's temporary? I never said I never said Israel should be Jewish majority forever. So we're actually on par with that. Shit.
Okay. You act like Jews and Muslims never coexisted, but I'm sorry. Even if you ask,
don't do the Ottoman simping. Don't do the when Jews were a pathetic fucking minority who lived as second-class citizens with no power. Yeah, they'll accept that under Ottoman rule. Yeah.
Yeah,
is that acceptable permanently?
For that time, it's normal. But I'm saying for this time, I'm sure that there was a time where the Muslim world was far better than.
Yeah, there was, but welcome to the current time. Welcome to the 20th and the 21st century. What happened in the 20th century? Arab states got taken over by people who supported Nazis, right?
Why do you think the Muslim world is anti-Semitic?
For probably a
Do you
broad range
think
of
that
reasons.
Israel's actions and Israel saying it does it for Judaism and we represent Jews while they kill like their brothers and their sisters is a reason why the Muslim world conflates the actions of Israel with Jews and the Muslim world
Nope,
is
there's no
anti-Semitic
that nope, and you
when
don't
they say
believe that either.
criticizing Israel is
No,
anti-Semitic.
no,
What has
that no.
Israel done to the majority of the Muslim world, though? Like, you're talking about Palestine,
No,
but the
everybody
Muslim
sees it on their screens when they fucking bomb a fucking hospital, when they kill,
Right.
when
So
they kill
wait,
things,
hang
and
on.
they
Do you
say
think?
we're doing
Wait.
this for
Sorry.
Judaism.
Stop. Do you think so? Okay. You think this is all because of empathy for their fellow Arabs in Palestine? That's why they hate Jews, because Jews claim to do it on behalf of the entire religion.
No,
You don't believe that.
the Israeli government claims to do it.
You don't believe that. You don't believe that. You think if this is because of empathy,
I don't
if
believe.
this is
No,
because
I
of
don't believe that.
why does Iran and the Axis support fucking Assad? If it's all about empathy for Arabs, why are they not anti-Assad? How many people have died in that Syrian civil war? 500,000? That's like multitudes more than have died in the entire Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Well,
Also,
no,
what the fuck is this argument?
Iran,
It's like,
Iran is not an Arab country. Iran is not an Arab country. Arabs don't.
It's a Muslim
majority
country.
Of Arabs
so Muslim countries?
don't emphasize.
I thought Arabs speak Arabic though.
Yeah, they do.
You
Yeah.
realize there's a difference between Arab and Muslim, right?
Iran speak Farsi. Iranians speak
Yeah,
Farsi.
Iran is not an Arab country. I'm not talking about Iran. And Iran,
Same
Iran
letters.
is all-
But you're asking why is the
Iran
Arab and Muslim world
is-
anti-Semitic, right? Well, the leaders of that fucking of the anti-Israel movement right now in the Middle East is Iran, right? They're the heads of the Axis, and they are supporting
and it's
Assad.
courageous.
Hezbollah, they're
Courageous
supporting
movement.
Assad.
Yes, Hezbollah trying to stop the Houthis trying to stop genocide and blockading Israel is the same as the UK.
You think the Houthis care about
blockading
again? Why did the Houthis support Assad if they care about Arabs?
You don't even have to go that far. Why are they kidnapping like?
Why are they
young Muslim-
stealing aid from their own people? Why are they robbing their own people of
I
aid?
think there's a lot of propaganda. I don't think Assad is as bad as he is. All these Syrian human rights.
The guy who
groups
uses
funded
chemical
by
weapons.
Saudi
Okay, so you're an
Arabia,
Assadist as
that's
well. Okay,
funded by
nice
the
one.
United
Good.
States.
Okay.
That's funded by the United States, and you guys
And,
obviously eat it up because you're
Wait,
puppets of
Kutan,
the West.
do you
Anybody
think-
who the West
Funded
supports
by the
you
Do you
guys.
think white racism is like fake?
Wait, hold on. Before you continue, out of curiosity, what is your background, Tutan?
I'm Lebanese.
You're
but I live in-
Lebanese.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, just like LonerBox.
I'm not. I don't live in Lebanon. I don't live in my family.
Have you
comes
ever
from-
lived in Lebanon?
No.
Just like LonerBox.
Are you like living in the West?
Yes.
Alright.
Just like LonerBox.
Everything makes sense to me now.
Great Britain.
But at least my family supports courageous Palestinian cause, and
Yeah, mine too.
and-
But you know, we don't say they
and
hate.
LonerBox coming at Hasan for platforming a Yemeni teen who
A Yemeni teen.
A teen who Hassan thought
who-
was a Houthi, by the way. Hassan said he was a Houthi when he introduced them to the audience.
Yeah, and the Houthis weren't even on a terrorist list when he interviewed them, so that guy wasn't a terrorist. But you're
What is
well,
America?
you're
Okay, so
buddy
is America the
with
arbiter of who's a
Elon
terrorist
Levy.
now? Is America the
That's-
arbiter of who's a terrorist now?
I was gonna ask because
Even
the Houthis
to
were.
American standards, he wasn't even a terrorist. Even
So
in-
you think,
in
yeah? So you think by
American
America? So you think America is the actual judge of who's a terrorist? We should believe America
No, I'm
when they say
saying
who's a
even
terrorist or
by
not.
American standards.
When did the
Even
Houthis
if
get?
he-
When did the Houthis get redesignated? They were they are
One-
terrorist designated now,
one
are they?
month from January 17th, so February 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So and Hassan Hassan.
Why? Why were they? Why were they
interviewed
designated
on
a terrorist again? Why were they redesignated by the U.S.?
Because they did a courageous move by
Because they were
stop
attacking.
trying to
Because they were
stop the
kidnapping.
Israeli
Because they
genocide.
were kidnapping Filipinos from
Yeah,
a
and
ship
they-
that was going to India.
and that-
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's one aspect of it which is wrong. But the other aspects of them trying to blockade and do what the world won't do, stop this genocidal Nazi regime, that's brave.
They don't care about
And I
stopping
don't-
genocide. They just want Hamas to win.
No, they want to stop the genocide.
You don't get the right to. Sorry,
Well-
just because you don't like. I don't like what's happening in Russia right now. Okay, and Ukraine. That doesn't give me the right to go to a fucking vessel in the North Sea full of Norwegians and kidnap them, does it?
If it no,
Because it doesn't help. Doesn't help anyone. The Houthis didn't help anyone. What did the Houthis do to help Israel? To help Hamas? They did fuck all.
No, to help the Palestinians, they bankrupted a port they bankrupted a port. They
also made.
Port?
Which port got bankrupted?
Are you talking about Eilat
I'm
Port?
pretty sure.
Eilat is still up and running.
They bankrupted a port. What else did they do?
They do you realize who do you think bears the brunt of those costs when you slow down world cargo? Because a lot of people use that sea, right? A lot of people use imports through that area.
No, they don't. They only target ships coming from the genocidal.
No, they don't. Do you think the Houthis? You fucking moron! Do you think the Houthis have the intel on where ships are coming from? The Galaxy Leader.
They don't.
The Galaxy Leader was coming.
They target ships from the United States, from Canada, which I.
Why did that ship was going from Turkey to India? Why did they stop? You realize that every vessel stopped going through that sea, right? Everyone stopped.
70%.
Oh, only 70%. Okay, so 70% of trade that goes through the Red Sea had to move, raising prices, obviously, because companies want to shift the cost. Who does that go on to? You think that doesn't affect the third world? Of course it fucking does. You're happy to let them suffer as well, just for what, so you can get a good propaganda video of a guy jumping on a ship. You know those civilians who were kidnapped are still kidnapped, right? We don't know where they are.
Yeah, that's wrong. I don't approve of that.
Why do you think it's brave then in stopping the genocide? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's not doing anything. It doesn't help anyone.
The aspects of targeting ships, and I get Hasan's point. If Anne Frank went in and joined the ragtag group of other Jewish people, and they targeted pro-Axis ships.
Wait, who did Jewish partisans actually fight with?
Huh?
Who did Jewish partisan militants generally fight with? Like in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, who did they fight with?
Nazis.
They fought with SS officers. I don't recall them kidnapping random fucking Bulgarians in boats, sending goods
I'm
to.
saying the kidnapping aspect is wrong, but attacking the pro-fascist genocide.
Okay, so it would be good if they just changed all of their methods. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
yes.
It would be good if you changed everything about what they did. Yeah. Again, it's not about helping Palestinians. It's about helping Hamas. It's about helping Hamas have an advantage against Israel.
Palestine. Go to
Salah. Not even really helping Hamas. It's also they just want to harm Israel. It's not to the benefit of anybody. It's
that's a good thing. Harming an ethno state is a good thing.
Okay, let me just explain something to you. Where do you think the imports for the West Bank come from?
Well, they don't have
Israeli ports. They come from Israeli ports.
Yeah, Israeli ports, and then they drive.
Yeah, and then they take the imports to the West Bank. So you didn't.
But Palestinians.
Hold on, before you continue, Palestinians support boycotting, not kidnapping people off ships.
No, if you do a poll, and you see who PCR poll, it says who are you satisfied with the most, and they put Yemen at like 80%.
They say the Houthis, Adam.
Yeah, there was a poll roughly around the same time as those hijackings that people said the Houthis in large numbers, probably because it was a good video, wasn't it? It looked like something was happening.
What was the sample size of this?
They support this. They
what is the sample? Okay,
hold on. In the end, getting rid of this genocidal
this is for your benefit.
As
this is for your benefit.
Short-term cost is a good thing.
This is a question for your benefit. Have you ever heard Hasan make a point and said, I disagree?
With what?
Have you ever heard him say any point, like in regards to IP, like Israel-Palestine, and said, I disagree?
With Israel, yeah, he disagrees.
No, have you ever disagreed with anything that he said about it, the conflict? I think he's asking.
Honestly, I don't have the issue with Hezbollah. I disagree with that, but I think
he doesn't either.
No, he's saying he disagrees with Hassan not having an issue with Hezbollah. Yeah, you do. So you do have an issue with Hezbollah.
Didn't he just admit he wasn't a sadist?
No, I'm saying Assad is bad, but these like Syrian human rights group are funded by United States and Saudi Arabia.
And where did you get that information from?
Yeah, Assad is funded by Russia and Iran. Like what's
no, but they don't have the propaganda tools of the United States and
My problem is that
I'm pretty sure HTS is
everything-
designated as a terror organization by the US. The ones who
Well,
are pushing
NATO
against
nation
Assad right
supports
now.
them. A NATO nation supports them. Do you think Turkey can support them without the United States go ahead? No. United States
Wait,
is
Turkey can do quite a lot of things without the United States go ahead. I don't. Turkey's relationship with HTS is not as tight as say like the other guys up in the north, right?
I'm sorry, but isn't Turkey the second strongest country in like NATO, like military wise?
I don't know if they're the second, but
they have the second largest army.
Second largest army.
They also held up
they have a lot
they
of
held up
sway.
Sweden's accession to NATO as well. So Turkey does have its own agency in quite a few ways. Yeah.
Wait,
Well,
Tuton, like what made you like?
In the 2021
pro
PBS
something?
documentary, they were covered positively. Al Julani was covered positively. If you don't think the United States is enjoying what's going on, and is
Wait, hold on.
supporting
What
what's going
Lebanese
on
are
right
you?
now
I mean,
with this-
Israel's enjoying what's going on as well, right? That doesn't mean they like HTS.
Yeah, Israel has famously said they would rather have al-Nusra than Assad on their border. Israel has given weapons to, and this is why I hate the Syrian
And what if?
rebels.
Wait,
They've given
hey,
weapons
hang
to
on,
the
stop
Syrian
it,
rebels.
propagandist. Fuck. What did Israel say about this current conflict right now?
In what, Gaza?
No, about Syria. They
I'm
did
talking
a
about
comment.
before. They
No,
said they would
stop
rather
it,
have
stop it. Talk
al-Nusra.
about now. Talk about right now. What did Israel say about what's happening in
I
Syria
think
right
they said
now?
that they're concerned with the current developments.
Yeah,
but
why?
That could
Why?
be just
Why?
that could be a propaganda thing to make the Arabs seem this is not a Zionist plot, which it clearly is. Well, no, I'm not saying it's a Zionist.
Are you
it's a
sure about
USA
that?
plot.
Come on. Proceed with caution,
Bro,
my
these
friend.
militants have no problem with Israel. These Syrian rebels have
Julani has no problem with Israel. What the fuck is? Are you serious?
yes.
Oh my god.
Well,
Oh,
no,
you're
I'm
com-
not Giuliani specifically, but the Syrian rebels have received arms from Israel.
You're completely full
That's
of
why
shit.
I don't give them any
really.
credit.
Sunni extremists. They have more in common with Hamas than fucking
Yes,
Assad does.
Saudi Arabia, Sunni extremists, Saudi Arabia, buddy with Israel, shut down Houthi drones.
Wait, Tuton,
Yes,
what's
I
your
don't-
thoughts on the?
you
I
realize-
would say the
you
Saudis. I don't
remember-
think Saudi really matches the same level of Sunni extremist as HTS. Saudi is a conservative Sunni
it's
rule that doesn't do what's
Well-
happening in fucking Syria. What are you talking about?
Saudi Arabia is very. Saudi Arabia, you literally get stoned. Women couldn't drive in Saudi. You
That's
guys
not
talk
okay.
about
We're
all
talking
this
about the
stuff.
context. We're talking about the Overton window of the region. Okay,
Where the
Saudi
fuck
is
did
a
that go?
conservative Sunni establishment. They're extreme by our standards,
And they love
but
Israel.
HTS compared to Saudi Arabia, like, okay, come on.
And Saudi Arabia, king fucking dick sucks Israel.
Is your entire argument just shaped by like who aligns with the West and who doesn't?
Oh no, no, it's not. It's about who's doing the more action, and I think blocking ships going to a genocidal nation or
Wait,
or
Tutan,
ships
I got a
that's
question.
But
funding
like
this
it's been
genocidal
a
nation
year.
is a
Like we
good
can
thing.
look and see how effective that has been. Would you say that the Houthi blockade?
Well,
has
I don't
been-
view as well, shit. I don't view their effectiveness as resistance movements. As what did he say? It was a good quote when.
Yeah, you're like a virtue
I'm not
signaler. As long as it makes you feel good, that's all that matters, right? Who cares about
Wait,
results?
Tutan,
You know, fucking
Tutan, I got a
MLK, right?
question.
Like, who cares
Hey.
about getting results?
Hey, Tutan?
These are resistance movements that are trying their best.
Tutan,
Hey,
how old are
Tutan.
you?
To achieve what? What do you think the
Wait.
Houthis won? What do you think the Houthis won?
The Houthis want the Israeli ethno state to disappear.
You think the Houthis care
As
about
any-
ethno-states?
Yes.
What happens to
I
ethnic
do.
minorities under Houthi rule? Do you know?
Some of
Do you know what al-Houthi says about Christians?
Hmm.
And Jews alike? What happens to Jews who live in Yemen? You think they're safe under Houthi rule?
if they're
What the fuck do you think people care about fucking ethno-states? What
They
the
don't
fuck?
care.
They-
Hold on, Tutan, stop this stupid like thing you heard. If Jews are anti-Zionists, they're safe under like fucking extremist groups.
in
They're not.
Iran? They
They're not.
are
They're not.
in Iran.
Iran, they're
In
treated
Iran, you-
horribly. Okay, what kind of population that lives well decreases every year?
There's 10,000 strong Jews in Tehran.
It
You'll see them-
decreases every year. It was 14,000 like the last estimate. So it decreased to 10,000 now.
Yeah, but that's
What
a lot
kind of-
people.
What kind? No, but it's not a lot of people. What kind of population that is living well in a country is decreasing every year?
Well, everybody wants to leave Iran. I don't. It's
Well, you
um,
can't
Sanctions,
go-
blame
you
the
can't-
West, quick. You're supposed to say sanctions. I can do your arguments better than
Yeah,
you can.
sanctions. Yeah, sanctions in a U.S. coup.
There
In a
you
US
go.
coup
There you. Yeah. Because of fucking
Tutan,
1952. Yeah.
Social democracy and
Yeah.
Reza Shah.
Because
You
of
love the Shah.
1952,
You're a
right?
Shah.
Yeah.
You're
Because
a
of
Shah
Tutan, I got a
supporter, aren't you?
no.
Tutan, I
You're a
got
Shah
a question.
When did I
supporter.
say I
bet you
support
love
the Shah? Never.
So-
Fuck you.
The
I've never
Shah-
said.
okay.
I've never said a nice word about the Shah. Just so you know.
Okay, so before you continue,
Wait
Tutan,
for them to rip your
would you
toenails
believe?
off.
Can we go?
if
No,
you-
wait. Can we go back to my question? Do you think the Houthis really care about ethno-states? Are we really seriously having that argument?
Well, no, they care about. Okay, if they don't care about ethnicity, they care about a colonizer. And
No. What
That's
the fuck?
Israel.
Really? Iran? Really? They're allowed to have like Iranian imperial interests all over the Middle East. They care about colonizers.
Hezbollah are not imperial interests. All the southern Shia Lebanese love Hezbollah.
Why don't you
How is
just?
that not an imperial interest?
How is that not imperialist? They're a de facto military in another country. They're a state within a
And they're
state
resistance
against the will of the Sunnis and the Christians who live there.
anti-imperialist.
Really? So
But
why does
Hezbollah
the
bombing the
March 14th faction? Why did they want Hezbollah to disarm for the last fucking 20 years?
What's the March 14th faction?
Oh, you're Lebanese. You don't even know what. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Okay,
Wait, Tutan, I have a
I
question.
don't even fucking.
about,
What? You don't know anything. You don't know shit.
Tutan,
Hezbollah
Tutan.
shouldn't
Wait,
disarm. Hezbollah
Tutan.
should keep fighting the Zionist entity to the last breath.
Yeah,
Yo,
do you think?
Tutan.
Yeah, and apparently Lebanese
Tutan.
civilians who live in those areas should pay the price for it because Hezbollah's only way of fighting with Israel is by digging themselves under the houses of civilians or into the capital of Beirut, so that when they, is it? You think that's Israeli propaganda that Hezbollah hides their rockets in civilian buildings?
In the house. Where's the evidence for that except like videos? You said they put rockets in the house.
Do you want to watch the videos with the secondary explosions? Where do you think Hezbollah hides their rockets then? Where are they? They're not all in houses.
I've seen their videos.
Where are the tunnels?
In what?
In tunnels.
Where are the tunnels? Some of them are in nature reserves. Where are the rest of them?
I've seen one tunnel in a nature reserve in one of their videos, and their tunnels look really good. Like I don't.
Where
are
all the tunnels? Are the tunnels only in nature reserves? Where are the tunnels? Are they not in towns? Do you deny that? Do you think there's no tunnels in? Are there no tunnels in Bintish Bale? Are there no tunnels in Yarun? Are there no tunnels in Marun al Ras?
No, I'd love to go to southern Lebanon and visit Hezbollah officials like Noam Chomsky did. And they don't have a problem with Jews. Noam Chomsky met Hassan Nasrallah and they handshake.
Really? Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
That's like, they like Jews who want to destroy Israel. Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
They like Jews who helped them oppose Israel. That's why there are 20 Jews living in Lebanon right now?
The greatest Jew to ever live. Oh no, I'm not okay.
Okay,
not in that way.
Why are there only 20 Jews living in Lebanon right now? There used to be more.
Before you continue about why there is, what happened when Israel beat these Arab states in a war? They took their anger out on Jews that are unrelated to Israel.
Jews who weren't Zionists
Yeah,
either. Most of those
that's
Arab
wrong.
Jews were most of those Mizrahi Jews were not Zionists to begin
That's
with.
right.
Yeah, they
When
were
have you
settled in
defended
Arab
that?
states.
That's wrong. When have they defended?
No,
when
but
have
it
they
proves
defended-
that you are wrong about these countries being accepting of Jews that aren't pro-Israel or Zionist, because these Jews were unrelated to Israel
Well,
at that
do you
time.
know Israel did bombings? Israel in Iraq they bombed.
It
Do you
hasn't
think-
been proven?
Did like
This hasn't been proven.
they did
Stop.
these operations?
Stop.
There's only
Do
one
you really
case in
think
Egypt
that
and it's
the
unrelated.
entire? Do you really think that 800,000 Jews left the Middle East because, according to Avi Shleim, I think maybe 2 Jews dropped grenades into a couple of synagogues? You think that's why 800,000 Jews left their homes and
economic
everything they
factors,
owned?
Israel-
Why did the Zionists
Okay,
cause the
no,
Farhud?
yeah, anti-Semitism. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, did Zionists cause the Farhud?
No, no.
Okay,
That was European Nazi propaganda that made it its way into that.
That was
not just
propelled by an Arab leader, right?
Yeah, it's
The
not,
guy
yes,
who
listen.
overthrew Faisal.
This is one thing
Yes.
I hate about people like Hassan Tutan. They don't give our people any agency. They treat us like toddlers. We don't give any
Assad
responsibility.
is the person that cares about your people. Destiny's an open Islamophobe. He's proud
I
of
don't
it.
give a
He
fuck if
likes to-
Destiny.
I
Hold
hate
on, hold on.
He says I hate Islam. I hate Muslims. He says
He also
calls
says
your
he
people
hates
the
Christ-
people who commit suicide bombers. Is Destiny
Okay.
the person that likes Arabs?
Did I mention Destiny
You
here?
can, why don't
Aren't you a
bring that to
Destiny fan as well?
I'm not a Destiny fan. No, I'm a LonerBox fan.
I swear I've heard you talk to
I've
Destiny.
talked to Destiny because I've seen him say wrong things about the Palestinian identity and went and corrected him.
Yeah, but you're a part. I thought you were part of his community. Okay.
No, I joined his stream maybe like 3 times at most. I'm a regular LonerBox viewer.
And LonerBox closely associated with these people that say
Okay,
they're Islamophobic.
why
Openly.
is
Imagine
okay?
if Hasan said openly
Why
he's anti-Semitic.
why is Loner Circle my concern?
Because why do you want your friends to hang out with a person that openly hates you? Openly hates
That
your
was a long
existence.
sentence for he openly hates. Do you see how you went from hating Islam to hating Muslims, which Destiny never said,
No,
to
Destiny
hating his
hates
entire
Muslims.
existence? Do you see how you shifted from one to the other? First of all,
It's
there's
not
nothing
just that.
there's
Destiny
nothing
definitely
wrong
hates
with
Muslims.
hating a religion. You just had to add all those extra things in because it
It's not
makes it
just
sound
that.
more
Destiny
racist,
definitely
right?
hates
It's not just
Muslims.
that.
Have you seen the video when he says these people are the people who have suicide bombers? He makes generalizations. So
Yeah, and
quickly. He
there,
classifies-
as I'm pretty sure since I met Destiny in person, I've also told him to his face that the comments he made about Palestine is disgusting. To his face. So I don't know where you're going with this conversation. I'm not a fan of Destiny. I do talk to him from here to
I
there
thought you were
about.
Destiny older.
No, I'm here in the LonerBox community.
Hmm.
Anyway,
LonerBox is a bit of a less of an Islamophobe.
he's
Less
not
of an
an
Islam. What have I ever?
Islamophobe.
What makes? What's a? Sorry. What's an Islamophobe to you? What does that mean?
Islamophobe is somebody that is bigoted towards Muslims.
Okay. When have I
Right.
ever been bigoted towards Muslims? You don't know. You just said that because you've probably been told it by other people. That's it.
No,
You
you're
have no
just
idea.
pro-Israel people
You
are
have
just
no
always
fucking idea.
Islamophobe.
You have no fucking idea why I'm an Islamophobe. You just said that for no reason.
Okay, I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay, now we are.
Because you say Israel can never target civilians. That's your thing. But Hamas, they can target civilians.
When did I say Israel can never target civilians? I've spoken about Israeli war crimes on this channel a million times.
They can never have a policy. Oh, there's always this one IDF soldier that was really
Okay,
horny.
hold on. Before we continue
How
this
is
conversation,
okay? First of all, how is any of that
is a
Islamophobic?
request,
Like, what
Loner.
the fuck? That's
Loner, this
even
is
if
a
on your
request.
terms.
Loner, this
Okay,
is a
if you
request.
hang out with a Nazi, you are a Nazi. If you hang out with Islam.
Okay, well,
Wait,
I've got a word or
two-tone.
two. If you hang around with a Nazi, you are a Nazi. I've got a word to tell you about every fucking other Palestinian politician. What are you talking about? Does that mean that non-violent Palestinian politicians who hang around with Hamas are Hamas? You think Mustafa Barghouti is Hamas?
Israel would agree with him on that. Regardless, Tutan, this is a question, and you have to answer.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
Wait,
Okay.
which Nazi do I
safe.
hang out with, by the way? I've never hung out with. Which Nazi have I hung out with?
Destiny.
Destiny's not a Nazi. I thought Destiny hangs out with a Nazi. So is it because Destiny hangs out with a Nazi or did hang out with a Nazi and that makes him a Nazi, which makes me a Nazi?
Who claims he's a liberal. He's a Nazi who claims he's a liberal.
Okay, you have no
That's
idea
who
what
he
you're
is.
talking about. I don't know why. You can make a lot of criticisms of
Destiny's
Destiny, but calling him a
open-
Nazi, what the fuck? Really? Third Reich?
Destiny's
What?
a Nazi. He's a
what-
pedo. He says ethical CP. He is a Nazi.
I don't know,
You hang out with a guy who
fuck
says
me,
ethical
man.
CP.
Wait,
Yeah?
Tuton, I got a
Okay.
question. So,
Are
We're going back to 2016 memes now, or
Ethical
Tuton,
CP.
stop
If you
yapping,
ever
bro. I got a
utter the
question.
words ethical CP, you should be hanged. You should be
Tuton,
hanged in front of
I got a question.
everybody.
Look up. Yo, look up. I got a question. All right, 2 questions.
You're probably gonna kick me.
What's your thoughts on the October 7th attack?
It's like the Warsaw Get uprising when you see brave young people.
Do you
I
have
don't- I
any
don't- I
unique
don't
thoughts
agree
of
with
your
their
own?
methods. I don't agree with the methods, but it was and LonerBox thinking Hamas should just build. What happened in the West Bank?
Okay, hold on.
one thing at a
LonerBox.
time, you hot-headed motherfucker. Come on,
Tuton,
focus on
Tuton,
one point at a
Tuton.
time.
Before you
Tuton,
continue.
you're jabbing right now.
Michael, one
Relax.
sec.
Bro.
No, but
Tuton,
I'm just
listen
thinking
to
that.
the statement.
LonerBox saying,
Hold on. Listen to the statement LonerBox is about to make. What do you think about Palestinian resistance in the West Bank, LonerBox?
I think it's based.
no, he
Does
doesn't
that-
because he supports.
Yes, he
because
does. He's always
he
said
supports-
this.
He supported what the IDF did in the in the West Bank when they fucking
Okay.
demolished those neighborhoods.
what is-
Wait,
What
are you
is-
talking about? So, are you talking? Wait, when you talk about resistance, are you talking about people who actually just use violence to try and stop the settlement project? Are you talking about organizations that tried to go into Israel to suicide
Israel.
bomb civilian towns?
No, they were trying to.
This is a really
attack
difficult.
Saudi.
This is a really difficult concept for you. Okay, here's a really difficult concept for you. You know that some forms of resistance are justified and other ones aren't, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
would agree.
So yeah, I don't support when
Okay.
they want to just kill like random Israeli civilians.
How do you
No, I
know
don't
they
support
wanted
that.
to do
I
that
would
instead of
support.
attacking
I do support
settlers?
them, and there are small groups who do this. It's not Hamas. It's not Islamic Jihad. It's not the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades. But when you have small groups who try to frustrate the outposters or try to tear down or block roads or anything like that, or try to stop people from burning down olive trees and all that, yeah, I support that 100%. Depends on context.
Okay. Could I
Unfortunately,
ask
the armed organizations that are in the West Bank right now generally don't do that. That's not their main focus.
Okay. Could I ask a general question? You say Hamas should just build in Gaza and put their arms out. Isn't that exactly what happened in the West Bank? And haven't they just lost more and more of their borders each year? Because the PA is just like an Israeli CIA puppet.
Maybe that's why he supports resistance in the West Bank.
Israel pulled out of Gaza. They didn't pull out of the West Bank.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got it.
All right, number 2.
So obviously,
Tutal.
if you're gonna use armed resistance to get Israeli military or settlements out of the West Bank, that's a bit different. They've left the area that you're in, and you've got humanitarian aid coming in. Netanyahu's helping with that. We know that. Yeah, then you can probably build something that's a bit more useful to your population than 400 miles of tunnels. Yeah.
Okay, last question. This is a general question. If Hamas just targeted militants and military bases, would they put targeting civilians like and they actually meant it. They put it against their conduct in war. Would you be and like the Israeli government is not cooperating with Palestinians even though they're trying to be peaceful? Would you be fine with that?
To achieve what?
To achieve
I mean, it sounds fine, but
like,
yeah, obviously, if you only
imagine
target militants, it makes sense. But like, yeah, so there's two ways that you
Is
study
there a
armed.
goal?
There's two rules of like when it comes to armed conflict. One is like your conduct of war, and the other one is your right to go to war. So, for example, I could go to fucking England and kill like 100 soldiers and be like, look, I didn't get any civilians, but then
Yeah,
they'd
that
probably
would be-
ask, why are you fighting with England? What's the point? So I'd maybe ask like, okay, Hamas, if they want to go and kill a bunch of soldiers, okay, great, then, but why? What were they trying to achieve from that, from Gaza?
this just saying end of the occupation because when they did October 7th, the motives was end of the blockade, end of
No, it wasn't.
the end of occupation.
No,
Well,
it
that's
wasn't.
what it said on Wikipedia.
No, it was that's and what did Hamas say themselves? They said
why-
it was to inspire a global jihad around the world. They wanted to get
Yeah.
Iran to join in. They wanted to get Hezbollah to join in. They wanted to get the Houthis to join
Yeah,
in.
they
They
should.
wanted Palestinian Israelis to join in. They wanted fucking Sev to pick up a knife and get in a car and or run someone over. and
relax,
stab them.
relax.
That's what they wanted. They wanted fucking people around the world to go and attack synagogues for some reason because Sinwar said that. Yeah, that's actually what they wanted. I know Wikipedia won't say that, but like I can show you Sinwar himself saying that's what he expected.
You could also, you could also hold on. You could also just look at the name of the operation. Did it mention Gaza? No, it was Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. It was talking about
Flood. Yeah, that's that name. That name is honestly an inspiring name. Al-Aqsa Flood.
Yeah, I'm glad.
You
Yeah,
don't
it's-
give a shit about.
at
Wait,
the
hold
end of
on.
the day, it's not
You
you
don't
who has to
give
pay
a
the
shit
price
about
for it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like I hate this.
I would if I was a Gazan, I would happily pay.
I
it. No,
heard
wouldn't.
every single
not a Gazan.
Western. Hold on, I've heard every single stupid Western Arab be like, "If I was there, I would pay the price." Fucking move! You have the option to move there. You are a
I can't go
Western
into
Arab.
Gaza.
You can move to the Middle East and
You can go to Israel. Go to Israel and fucking
Yeah, I'll go to Israel and
Minecraft
I'll
some
go- and I'll
soldiers.
go- and honestly, the future. Well,
can
now and that,
go to
in
the
future,
West
I'll go
Bank
to
and
Israel and I'll
shove
target
yourself in
militants.
front of IDF tanks if you want.
Wait, Tutal,
No,
I got a
I
question.
would go suicide and bomb myself in front of militants.
All right, Tutal, such a goofy ass up. All right, we'll look up. All right, so question 2. What's your thoughts on the
Fuck
Ukraine
am I
war?
talking
all right?
to?
What's your thoughts on the Ukraine and Russia war? All right, what's your thoughts?
Russia's invasion of Ukraine is unjustified, but then they shouldn't get Crimea back. Crimea is firmly in the hands of Russia. Majority of the people there want to be.
Do you think
part
Russia
of
was justified
very
in taking
happy.
Russia? And do you think Russia was justified in taking Crimea?
Yeah, because the natural people, the people that were there that aren't settlers, want to be a part of Russia, enjoy being a part of Russia. By
No,
any
wait.
point in
Sorry,
the-
how did
Wait,
how did
what
how did
about
Crimea
That's fucking
how did
retarded.
how did
That's
hang on,
retarded.
how did Crimea fill up with Russians?
ethnic cleansing of Tatars.
Huh.
Uh,
Do you think
And
Israel
there
should
was,
start
uh,
annexing
Star-
settlements in the West Bank because they're full of Jews?
no,
Most of
they're
the people who live
settlers.
there.
They're settlers.
How are the
they're
Russians in
settlers.
Crimea not settlers?
They're Ukrainian civilians. They're not. They had Ukrainian citizenship.
Okay, so are
No, they
Israelis?
weren't.
So Israelis aren't settlers to you? Israeli, like 48 Israelis, so they're not.
No, they are
settlers to you?
settlers because they live on a recognized Palestinian territory without Palestinian citizenship.
No, 48 Israelis. Israelis who live in Israel proper. Are they not settlers to you?
No, they're not settlers.
Damn,
No, when
a
have I
lot of
said
the
they're settlers?
people
A
you
lot
watch
of
would be
the-
really upset with you for saying that one. All right.
Hassan
Yeah.
doesn't
the
say they're
Russians
settlers.
in
Hassan,
Hassan-
Hassan
okay,
says
to be fair-
Israelis are settlers.
No,
To
he
be
just
perfectly-
he just tolerates people who do, and
No,
he
hold
tolerates
on, it's
people who
not
say
just
that they're
that.
military targets. Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
just
you
that.
tolerate
It would
people who say
avoid.
true or you say they're Islamophobic.
I have
So
never
that's fair.
tolerated anyone who has openly advocated for murdering civilians. Deprogram podcast,
Oh,
they
you
have,
should
right?
test
So
me, bro. Pallywood, Mr. Pallywood, Mr. Person who.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Before you continue, do you know who went on his stream to fucking argue against that point he made?
Yeah,
It was
LonerBox, and he failed
LonerBox.
to do so because he still holds that position. Oh, Mister, we should genocide them, Mister. I think that's the only good position. You tolerate that person.
who
you hang
argued
out
with
him,
who
you
argued against that
farmers.
position as well? As far as I know, Stephen's a two-stater
He
now.
still hold.
Damn.
Yeah, he's a two-stater, but he
So that's
still
not
thinks
that's not the
Pallywood's a real
pro-genocide thing. So do you see how
He still thinks
do you see how that when you maintain connections with people and you think they're on bad positions, you can like talk to them and argue them out of it
Have you
and move
talked
them
to
off
him
of it.
about ethical CP? Have you talked
I
to
don't
him
think you
about
know anything about what was said about ethical CP. What was said? What was the is there a clip? Is there
that?
like a
He quoted a false study that's saying that giving CP to these pedophiles would make them not commit the crime. It was completely false study.
so
This
does
is
he
a
now
weird
does he
thing.
support giving CP to fucking pedophiles if it doesn't help them, if it doesn't stop
Well,
recidivism?
then he supported it. CP should never be given out, no matter the consequence. Oh, did
Wait,
it say
no matter the
15-year-olds
consequences.
were
Wait, so
hot
if the
jailbait?
so if the study was real, you'd still oppose it.
Yes.
If it
CP
was
should
so
never
if it
be
was
given
if it
out.
was real, and this actually did reduce risks to children,
It's like
you would still oppose it.
pedophile argument.
Oh, so you don't give a
I
fuck
hate-
about children? Okay, that's fine.
Loner, I kind of stand in that position too because I don't think there's an ethical way to make CP.
Yeah, that's the argument against it, right? But then obviously people will say like, what about AI or whatever the fuck, right? Yeah.
Well, he
Right.
said other stuff, but that's
Or just
not
stuff
you.
that
He said
already
other
exists
stuff.
and whatever. Yeah, like
He said
again,
other stuff about 15-year-olds being hot jailbait, but like other than that,
Isn't
and like
Ollie
how you
ethical
can't resist
ethical
looking at
CP?
them. But you guys going at Hassan saying he's anti-Semitic when I clearly
I'm
watch
pretty
his
sure
streams.
LonerBox said repeatedly he doesn't think Hassan is anti-Semitic. He's
No,
just said
he just kind of does it
doesn't
unwittingly.
allow
enables it in his community.
Yeah, he does it unwittingly. You do it as
like, I
well, by
don't-
the way. You're doing it too.
You know,
Yeah.
Titan,
Oh,
I know,
that's
I know
a
you're gonna do.
serious accusation. I'm against anti-Semitism. It is the canary of fascism. It is
That's
one of the
debatable.
most
Yeah, I know.
vile,
That's why you
vile
find yourself
bigotry.
accidentally supporting some of the most anti-Semitic groups in the entire fucking
I
world.
don't
Yeah.
support the anti-Semitic. I support the anti-Zionist element, not the
Okay,
anti-Semitic.
well,
Oh,
hold on.
you-
I'm
the-
sorry.
really, the-
Hold on.
There's
Hold
between
on.
the two?
Hold on. The Houthis do not say curse upon the Zionists. They say curse upon
Yeah,
the
and I
Jews.
criticize that, but that has nothing to do with what they're doing in the Red Sea. They saw the
Yeah, it
Palestinians
does.
getting genocide.
Why do you think they want? Why do you think
Absolutely
they want
does.
Israel to lose? It's because they're fucking Jews.
No.
We know
God.
that the Houthis would not give a fuck if Israelis were Arabs doing what they're doing because they support Assad.
So if
They
they're
support
Buddhist,
Arabs killing
if
each
they're
other,
Buddhist
right?
colonizers, if they're Buddhist,
They are
Hindu.
okay with Assad, okay? They are okay with one of the biggest Arab killers in the entire fucking region.
Well,
They're okay with themselves.
different
How many
because-
Arabs have the Houthis killed? They're okay to steal aid trucks and to fucking
well,
kidnap
Houthis
aid
haven't
workers,
killed many Arabs.
resulting in their own people starving
don't-
as well, right?
Houthis, like 90% of the deaths in Yemen, I'm sure if you ask any organization, was because of the Saudi blockade when they. Because I remember it was like 10,000 deaths for 2 years, and then the Saudi blockade, like once it happened, once they fully did it, the deaths like rose like it like rose so much. So
Yeah, they did.
the
And
deaths in Yemen
here's the
are-
difference, okay? I can blame multiple people at once. Yes, I know that the Saudi blockade was the primary cause of the famine. What you're not acknowledging
Famine,
is
and
that
the
the
deaths
famine
in
was
Yemen.
also
But-
exacerbated by
The Houthis steal
The
it.
but
Houthis
the
for
reason
stealing
they
aid.
took aid was the reason they stole aid was because of the Saudi blockade. Because
no. Why did they
own people.
kidnap aid workers?
Can I
don't know.
ask a
I
question?
bet fuck you, man. Okay, sorry.
because they're not good. Because they're not.
Because they don't give
You're-
a fuck
you're
about
all
Arabs
saying
dying
that
if
you
it's
are good.
by people that they are aligned with, maybe.
I'm saying, LonerBox, could you answer this question? If Hindu colonizers came from like India, came and did exactly what Israel's doing, do you think the Yemeni population would seriously not hate that state that's killing
No.
the Palestinians?
They probably would, but
No.
again, it's not because they care about fellow Arabs suffering. That's it. Like, because if they did, then
Honestly-
they'd oppose Assad, which they don't.
Honestly, the only group of
But
people that I think would
they
hate,
view Assad as
regardless
killing,
of
like,
what the ethnicity is
jihadists.
that's colonizing them, is the Palestinians, because they're the ones taking the brunt of it. The rest of these countries, not necessarily. I don't think they would hate them as much. They would probably have some sort of
Yeah.
hate towards them, but
But
they would
maybe
not hate them as
'cause
much.
because Jews are an
Newton,
easy group to hate.
Do you think that it's possible that the Houthis' decision to blockade the Red Sea has anything to do with the ceasefire that was declared between them and Saudi Arabia? And that, like, there are a bunch of warlords who, like, rely on conflict to justify their existence?
No, they've openly said that they would stop the blockade if Israel stops its genocide.
And you're
Do you
taking that at
believe
face
them?
value?
Yes, I am.
Why?
'Cause they
Wait, do you
started
think
when-
do they want a ceasefire, or do they want? Have they ever said Hamas should stop fighting?
No, because Hamas should
If
not
Hamas
stop
gave up, if
fighting,
Hamas surrendered and gave up the hostages, what you're calling a genocide would stop. Do you think Israel would just keep going? Like,
they
People,
wouldn't
he probably would.
They wouldn't keep going, but they would probably just like stop for a year or two and then just come in and bomb them again and
yeah, but why?
kill another 50,000.
Again? Why?
Why? Because Israel's a genocidal imperial state.
No, wait, stop. Why Gaza?
Why Gaza?
Why is it?
Because
Is it
they
just
have
is it just a coincidence that they go after the area where they're building rockets and vowing to try to destroy Israel?
No.
Yeah.
But you think the Gazans should just do nothing and accept? Oh, okay. You said they should build up, but
It's not just nothing. They
But
can also
Why that proposition, by the way, say after 2005, Israel leaves, Gazans are getting their humanitarian aid trucks in. There's the blockade and there's the border restrictions in maritime and land, air, and sea. But what would be wrong with using that aid to build yourselves up and try to build a de facto state reality on the ground, and then going to the rest of the world and saying, "Look, we're not doing anything. Where's our independence?"
Because then they'll never get the right of return. Then they'll never get because Hamas wants the right of return. They would have to accept living in this crowded thing and not having to go back to where their ancestors were from and where they should be if they weren't ethnically cleansed by the Zionist project.
Yeah, is that what happens to every refugee group? They get to go exactly back to the town that their grandparents came from.
And
The
other
Anatolian
response,
Greeks be allowed back to Turkey?
other than that, the other response to that is now they definitely don't get the right of return after October 7th, and we have 40,000 dead Palestinians.
Well,
at the
maybe
Yeah, it doesn't
the
help to get the right of
Zionist
return
entity
if
will
people
be
have a
destroyed.
reason to think that like your population is a threat to you, right? Like, what the fuck?
Well, we don't see. I think in 10 years there's a good chance that the Zionist entity will be dismantled.
Yeah, everyone says that. It's like how much trial and error does it take? Like, you realize that. Why do you think that? Why do you think that the Israeli state will be dismantled in 10 years?
Because they're gonna be ran. Because first of all, the population, like the people running it, are gonna be these these fanatic in the future as they breed more and more, they're not gonna be the intellectuals. They're gonna be like these religious right-wing fanatics. They'll make dumb decisions and then they'll lose support from the West, and then hopefully Hamas, Hezbollah can go in on them, and then maybe Iran can.
You think these
organize
guys are gonna get invaded by Hamas and Hezbollah, and they're just gonna
No,
let it happen?
I hope Iran can organize a revolution in like Egypt and get the puppet state out, and Egypt fights with Israel and conquers Israel.
The last 100 years, is that just something that happened to other people? I don't know why you think that after so much failure on trying to do this, this is your problem, okay? And this is why you're anti-Semitic. It's because you are taking a country.
Wow.
You are taking a country that is built by
I'm a
basically.
leftist, man.
Yeah, you're a left-wing anti-Semite. Well done. you don't seem to understand that you're taking a country that is
The
built of a
left-wing movement
population that is a
was filled with
population of
Jews.
people who were refugees, okay? The majority of people who live in Israel are refugees from the Arab and Muslim world. The rest of them are largely people who came from the Holocaust or from 1300 pogroms in Russia or from anti-Semitism rising in the 20s and 30s. That's
which
why they're there.
Palestinians
And
have
you
nothing
are
to do with.
treating them like they are just some imperial-backed colony like French Algeria or South Africa
No, I'm
or
not
something else.
treating the
And you
civilians
think
as
that these people are ever going to be dislodged. There's two things that are never going to happen in that country, okay? One is they're not going to accept being a minority. Never. Not the way that Jews have been treated in the Middle East as minorities by every other Arab Muslim country. They're also never going to leave because they have nowhere else to go. As long as you treat it that way, as long as you ignore the real reality and the lived experience of Jews that created Zionism, as long as you keep treating a genuine movement of people who were refugees, who had nowhere else to go in the world, going to a place and deciding, this is our home. If this is not our home, we die. And you don't acknowledge that because you just think it's, oh, white Europeans coming with the British and the American. Then yes, you're anti-Semitic because your entire analysis of Israel is completely ignorant of the real experience of Jews that resulted in them going to Palestine. If there was no anti-Semitism in the Muslim world and in the Middle East and in fucking Europe, then yeah, Zionism would have been what everything you're saying it is. It wouldn't have been justified, but it's not. It is a completely different situation. So when you treat it like that, yes, you are being anti-Semitic because your entire analysis ignores the reality of Jewish suffering over millennia. That's it.
Well, last thing, Jewish suffering and what Jews have gone through throughout history is atrocious. They've been one of the most prosecuted groups, especially in Europe, by the European anti-Semites and the Christian world, especially. Had like 90% of the brunt of it, I would say. But what you're saying that leftists like me, Hasan has famously said, if you put a group of Israelis and a group of Palestinians in a line and you base off their skin color, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I agree. Israelis, I don't think of Israelis as a brown, as a white colonizing people.
Just so
I
you
think
know,
it's Israel's.
just so you know, there's really white Palestinians. You wouldn't be able to tell that are
Yes, I
Palestinian
know.
people.
I know. There's white
Or
Arabs.
my brother.
Okay,
my
sorry.
brother's son-
Should I have said Jew hater instead of anti-Semitic? Would that have been more accurate? Like, I don't know what the fuck are you
I'm
saying?
not a Jew
Yeah, I
hater.
know
I
they
just
look
want-
the same. Yeah, because they're from the same part of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're white. I'm saying that Israel is a colonist. Israel is a colonist state. The way it was built, the way it came, the people coming from other countries dislodging the people that were there first, and then and it was overall the people that were there at the founding of Israel were all white because the Middle Eastern Jews hadn't came yet. So they were all
There
founded
were
by
already
European
Middle Eastern
Jews.
Jews there.
Again, they were
the
already,
movement
and they
was
were
headed-
also.
Well, the majority, vast majority were the majority of the Zionists at the start, and the Zionists who created Israel were majority Ashkenazi. We can agree on this. This is just a fact. And
yeah,
then the
but
Middle Eastern
Ashkenazim
Jews.
still have a Middle Eastern origin. If you go back in their
Yeah,
genetics, they still have Middle.
2,000 years ago, man.
It's
I'm
not just
sorry,
2,000 years ago, but they kept to themselves. They kept to their own groups. They didn't like fucking intermix with European populations. Some of them did, but not the majority.
yeah,
And
with the Italians, yeah.
Okay,
The
but it's still a
Ashkenazim
showcase.
are distinct from the rest from other.
Yeah, they had
No,
Middle
ethnic
Eastern
groups.
DNA.
The,
But
the,
doesn't-
the
I-
thing is that the people you watch that are like anti-Semitic and shit, they make fun of Jews for being what's it called?
Inbred.
Inbred.
Yeah,
And then they'll
no,
say they're
those
European.
clips are out of context from Hassan. Those are out of context.
Oh, the clips are out of context now.
Are they
Okay.
out of context?
When Diddy Saltman, when he calls
Diddy?
when the people that Hassan
That's
is
funny.
calling inbred, it were Ben Gvir or settlers destroying.
Ben Gvir is Iraqi Kurdish.
Yeah, and Hassan uses inbred as like a pejorative against, like he uses it against conservatives in America. He was calling Ben Gvir inbred, and Diddy G and Diddy Dan were trying to say that's anti-Semitic, calling Ben Gvir and people who destroy aid inbred as an insult.
It is
It is
used as an anti-Semitic thing to say to
yes.
Jews that
Well, he
they're
doesn't.
inbred.
He calls conservatives, calling conservatives like Ben Gvir. If you can call conservatives in American like Alabama, like the white conservatives, you can call Ben Gvir inbred, and that's not an insult. You're calling him
Okay, I
inbred
don't-
because he's a horrible human being.
I don't care about the inbred thing, but like you keep on saying that Israel is like a colonial and I know what you're doing. You're doing, but even though you said you don't see it the same as French Algeria, you don't see it the same as British and Kenya or Canada or the United States.
No, I see it the same as the United States in its founding.
Yeah, because you're
Really?
a fucking moron. That's why. That's a really stupid thing to say. I don't know what
People coming
like
from all
here,
the other parts. You could be a Middle Eastern colonizer. Mizrahi Jews that came, the Palestinians think. I'm saying you could be a colonist from the Middle East. I'm just saying I want this colonial and state to end and for them to live together. And they can live as a minority. I don't see it. Not right now. Obviously with education, but
oh yeah, because you support an ethnostate then, a temporary ethnostate. Yeah. Until these two groups actually want to live together, which they don't, and which they won't for a while.
No, not the ethnostate. I want to stop the ethnostate because Israel has policies. I want Israel to stop its policies of Judaizing East Jerusalem and the Jews towns, which you probably
okay.
support.
So you're
like
wait. Why do you think I support that? I think I'm a two-stater. Why the fuck would I support them Judaizing East Jerusalem?
Wait, what Jews
You know
towns are they
actively doing it, right?
Judaizing?
Wait, sorry, say that again. Wannabe Walmart.
You know,
what's
according to Amnesty International, they have all of these policies to make East Jerusalem at 60% Jewish.
That's not what I asked.
40%.
That's not what I asked. You just said I probably support it. I'm a two-stater. Why the fuck do you think I would support Judaizing East Jerusalem?
Zionists like
because you just made it up because you don't know what the fuck a Zionist is. What about being a Zionist that means you have to conquer the fucking West Bank? Really, if you believe in Zionism as like a Jewish state's right to exist, why the fuck would you absorb an area that has 300,000 Palestinians living in it? Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, I think East Jerusalem should go to Palestine. Yes. Do you see how you don't even know your enemy? You don't know anything about me. Like, why the fuck are you in here? You came in so hot with the genocide support propaganda, and now you're like assuming that I support Judaizing.
Oh, you've been
East
trying
Jerusalem.
to get my fucking favorite content creator. Oh, okay, no, that's one thing. You've been falsely accusing and smearing people who are pro-Palestine as fucking allowing anti-Semitism.
They do though. If you compare Houthis or Gaza to the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, you are anti-Semitic. Yes, you're doing anti-Semitism. Yes, I don't care if you mean it or not. You probably don't, but it's anti-Semitic. It's you're downgraded. You're either downplaying the Holocaust or just like I guess upgrading something else to match the Holocaust. But in either way, it's basically Holocaust revisionism. Yeah, and you understand that as well. Because I don't know, maybe I don't know how deep you are. Have you ever heard Marxist-Leninists talking about double genocide theory? You ever heard that with that?
No, I'm 19, bro. What do I do?
Okay, you ever heard people say that like when people accuse the Soviet, so if you go into like the Marxist-Leninist sphere, they will accuse people who say that if the Soviets committed loads of genocides in Eastern Europe, they say that accusation is anti-Semitic because it's equating less bad crimes with the Holocaust. Do you understand that? If you because obviously if you take the Holocaust or something like that and you try to equate it with something that's not as bad, you're like downgrading the Holocaust to make them match.
Yeah,
that's what people do when they compare October 7th to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising or the Houthis to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
Hassan has openly said he doesn't think what's happening in Gaza is like as bad as the Holocaust. He said it's similar.
Why do you think people make that analogy? The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising to the Houthis.
Because it's a group of oppressed people rising up.
No. They do it not for accuracy, not because it's a good analogy, because it's not. The only reason you would
self-hating Jew?
I don't care what he is. He's a moron. That's what he is. And he actually withdrew that statement, didn't he? Didn't he apologize for celebrating October 7th in the beginning?
He might have withdrew the statement,
just so you know, that analogy, it doesn't serve any accuracy. It doesn't give you any comparison to help you understand a concept. The only thing it achieves is it gets under the skin of Jews. And the people it mostly gets under the skin of is Western Jews, because Israeli Jews mostly aren't listening to this shit. Like,
yeah, they don't.
Most young Western Jews pro-Palestine. Like, if you look at the 18 to 24 demographic, if you look at the 18 to 24 demographic of Jews in right now, you could look at the Pew poll. Most young Jews are pro-Palestine.
If you look at
how many young Jews in the West do you actually know?
I have a couple. I have Jewish friends.
Oh,
How
you
did
have
a
Jewish friends?
how did a majority of Jewish college students say they felt
I got
less
Jewish
safe due to
friends
the
too.
campus protests in 2024? Majority of Jewish college students, these are youths,
Don't-
right?
don't-
Educated youths.
You're probably gonna pull up. If you look at a poll, most young
Wasn't there
Jews
the-
think that Israel's doing a genocide.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Ethan thinks there's a genocide. He's also concerned about anti-Semitism. I don't know. You understand how, like, depending on how you ask the question, but I think even wasn't there the Harvard Harris poll about the protests, and then the group that was
Harvard
most
Harris
likely,
poll- Harvard
the
Harris
group,
polls are not like
the group that was
are
most
not- are
likely,
not-
the group that was
are not
most likely to
reliable.
say that the protesters needed to be dealt with harder was Jews.
Harvard Harris polls are not reliable. They give like the worst results. They give you like 81% of Americans want Israel to go into Rafah. There's like the Harvard Harris is not a reliable.
Based
polling.
on
And
what?
when
Have you
use a
seen
guy
their
that-
Have you seen their methodology, or what's wrong with their methodology?
Pew, well, I just know that they give like to Pew. I look at Pew usually, or there was one Israeli government polling that said most Jewish teenagers sympathize with Hamas. 66% of Jewish teenagers sympathize with Hamas, like like the young
16.
Based on what?
66 from 14 to 18. It was written by the Middle Eastern Eye. Like the young
Oh.
Jewish
Oh, so we
people,
trust the
they
Middle Eastern
sympathize-
Eye, but not Harvard Harris. What's wrong? What?
No, it's Israeli polling.
Hang
but
on.
I'm
Where's
saying that
where's the Pew
young
poll from
Jews, they're
February? Hang
insanely-
on. Pew.
They're insanely
Jews,
progressive.
Hang on. Where's the
I
Pew research
don't-
from 2024? Because you understand that the way
Don't
you
look
can
at the
ask certain
18 to
questions.
34, look at
If
the
you-
18 to 24.
If you asked me in the right way, you could get me to say I sympathize with Hamas. Like, yeah, growing up in
Yeah, but I'm
Gaza
saying
for the
it's-
last 20 years is fucking shit. Of course, it's understandable why some people would see that and want to join Hamas.
Okay, do you acknowledge
Like-
that young Jews are pretty pro-Palestine? Young Jews.
I think they're more so than the older ones, but I don't know if there's like what the majority is. And it obviously depends on what the question is, because you can ask people if they think Israel's committing a genocide. There was a poll, I'm trying to find it. I think this was Pew, wasn't it? There was a poll that once had like a really high number of people saying it's a genocide, but then also a fairly high number of people saying that they supported the war. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, things get really
weird.
murky because
Also,
obviously
American media
Okay.
like
see.
Fox News and
Before you continue, I just fact checked what you talked about the 66% Jewish teens.
Hassan
sympathizing.
posted about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine, but he clearly didn't read the rest of it.
Uh-oh.
What's it called? Among those with strong Jewish backgrounds, as in they're either practicing or they hold cultural, like Jewish holidays or whatever, like culturally Jewish,
Yeah.
only 6% sympathize with Hamas
Okay.
in America.
Can I say something as an American Jew? I
Yeah,
think
but
that you're
just
you, Sab.
to finish the list of the it's compared to 65% of teens with little to no Jewish educational experices. So
This is,
it's people that
There
say
are-
they're
but
Jewish
they
that don't
still
do it.
this is from
there
April.
are a
Oh,
fuck
sorry.
ton. There are a fuck ton of randos in the United States who have like one Jewish grandparent, don't know anything about the culture, anything about the religion, but will like
Yes.
claim that they're Jewish for brownie points. Like this is not indicative of anything. The reality is most Jews, especially in the West, hold some sympathy towards Israel. That doesn't make
Um,
that doesn't mean that they're like genocide supporters. But the reality is that most Jews are sympathetic towards Israel in one way or another.
This is 78% of Jews aged 18 to 34 saying that Israel's reasons for fighting Hamas are valid. You've got 52 to 42 saying that the way Israel's carrying out its response to the October 7th attack is acceptable. This was in
That's
April.
18 to 34. That includes like all. I'm saying like narrowed down like 18 to 24. But that's like I'm just saying that young Jews tend to be thing, and also the leftist movement, from what I've seen, the leftist movement was I don't know if this is anti-Semitic, but I've heard the leftist movement was a lot of its leaders were Jewish people, and they Jewish people took in this brave movement, and so I don't know why if why if the left is so anti-Semitic, then Jews
But these
would
people are not These
Question.
people are not
like Rosa
reflective
Luxemburg, all these
the Jewish community
revolutionary
as a
Jewish
whole.
figures.
Do you think a
That,
Jew can be anti-Zionist guy?
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
yes, they're courageous
And
people.
being anti-Zionist is pretty like anti-Jewish from a Jewish perspective. Like knowing Jewish people,
I'd agree.
it's fine. You can
I'd say it's
disagree.
the most Jewish you could
It's
get. Is
fine.
being
You
against
disagree.
the
Do you think a black guy can be racist to other black people?
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
Candace
so
Owens.
why do you think having these Jewish people who are organizing things that are anti-Israel necessarily proving anything?
Well, are you talking about what I was saying about like leaders of the left swing or
Yes.
young Jews being
Yes.
pro-Palestine?
Like what does them being Jewish have to do with anything?
I'm saying that
Because
I'm
he's
saying that
tokenizing, because he's like using them as tokens for an argument.
By
you
the
know?
Am
way,
I
the
lying when I
reason
said that leftist women-
I'm coming to this point is that I hate this type of conversation because this is what happens when I live in Israel. I'm a Palestinian who lives in Israel.
Yes,
This
you
happens
should
to
be
a lot
fighting
of
against anti.
What did you say? Wait, what did you
should
say?
be fighting against. You should be fighting against the entity. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, this happens to a lot of Palestinians who remotely say something that's not anti-Israel, and
Yes.
then they get tokenized by all these pro-Israel. Like, for example, let's take
Yes.
Yusuf Haddad. Do you see how much fucking Jewish Israelis love him? He's Arab. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Jewish.
yeah.
He's not necessarily paid by the government, but he's rich, so he has an incentive to say good things about the state because he wants the state to continue to exist.
Yes.
Regardless of that, who props him up the most? Who?
Pro-Israel people.
Pro-Israel people.
Yeah,
Why do they prop him up?
because they can.
They're like, he's
tokenize-
Arab. See, he's Arab. He sees the truth. That's basically
he's
what
Arab
you're
who
doing.
says there's no apartheid and
Isn't
like
that
stuff like.
isn't that humiliating? Isn't that disgusting?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But that's exactly what you're doing with these Jewish people in these ahead of these groups.
I'm not saying it represents the whole of Jews. I'm not tokenizing them.
You
I'm saying that.
You kind of are implying that though.
I'm saying
When
no.
you
I'm
say
saying there are a lot of Jews who are
60% of
pro-Israel. But I'm
Jews
saying,
between 18 and 24 support Hamas. That's not true.
no, I'm saying they support Palestine. I'm saying that they're more pro-Palestine than pro-Israel. But yeah, I'm saying the tides are turning. Well,
But you realize that when these Jewish people say that they're pro-Palestine, they don't mean it in the same way that you do, right?
It's definitely
Like,
not the
they
same way
mean-
you do.
Like, they might support
Yeah, they have less
self-determination for the
extreme cases,
Palestinians and an
yeah.
end to the occupation, but they don't support a fucking maximalist one-state solution in which the Israelis get thrown into the Mediterranean Ocean, like, or Mediterranean Sea.
I don't support Israelis. I think Israelis are not colonizers. They've lived there. Well, the people being born there. There's people being born there. I think Israel has like colonist roots, and like how it was built was like colonial. But I don't think Israelis are like.
Sure, I don't
should be
think anyone
following-
would argue against this Israel having colonial roots. Like the way it was established is quite colonial.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
call it a colonial state. That's
No,
why.
but
That's why
the
people
difference
hate
is
it.
the difference is people do compare it as like America being founded.
Well, the thing is, it's a colonial state, but and the
There's
buts are
no
like
home colony.
it's a colonial state, but there's no consistent imperial mother state. Like they have backers that change throughout the years. It's a colonial state, but those people were mostly there for refuge and safety, not for economic exploitation. It's a colonial state, but they come from a wide variety of areas and they had different motivations for arriving there. It's a colonial state, but they don't have anywhere else to go. Yeah, it's a colonial state, but just a lot of the very important things to most colonial states are not actually there. So yeah.
Well, it had support from the UK for like a lot of time.
Yeah, and then the UK fucking turned on them and offered the entire thing to Al Husseini and to the Palestinians, right?
During the majority until 1948. No, I'm sorry. Israel would have not been possible without the UK, without the Balfour Declaration.
Yeah, because
Israel would
Zionists
have
campaigned for
probably
it, whereas generally most settler colonial states like Kenya or whatever is literally the state sends its own people, and its own people go down there with support from the state and sometimes even military support, so they can like plunder the resources and exploit the locals. This is very different from what Israel did. Israel went to the UK and said, "We want to have a state here, like help us."
Yeah, I just wanted to come in and say about the polls. There's a reason that usually you'll find tons of like contradictory and often surprising results from like American Jewish polls, and that's because the sample sizes are often quite small, and the way they gather the data is usually through very different means. So the results are often like very disparate from poll to poll. And like I believe the poll that was mentioned from the Middle East Eye isn't actually from the Middle East Eye.
It's from the
And
Jerusalem
it is
Post
legit,
report I've
but
seen.
the sample size is extremely small. And like
Yeah, it's from the Israeli government. I'm pretty sure that.
no.
No,
It is from a different poll because I remember reading it.
It can't be
It
from
is
the
merely
Israeli
No,
reported
government.
from the
Hassan's
Middle East
credit for
Eye.
that.
But never mind,
yeah.
like it's just good to keep in mind because something we'll notice the last few months and also going forward is that there will be a lot of claims of what the American Jews actually think, but everybody will have points in their favor or points against Jews to demonize them or say they're on our side. Usually it's more complex than that. It's good to keep in mind. When you read those polls, make sure to like check the amount of people polled. Sometimes it's as few as like 600. And
It's not
those
just
polls
that.
have been getting a lot of tractions.
Also, I just want to say to Embo Man in chat, that's the textbook definition of the West Bank. Be careful with phrasing. Why would I be careful with that? No one here supports what's happening in the West Bank. No one here supports settlements. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's just
Yeah,
good to
look
keep
up.
in mind. I just wanted to say that because that's something that is often brought up. Thank you.
Okay.
Shalom.
Last thing, LonerBox.
Hmm.
But weren't you the guy that said like saying Sabra Hummus' shit was like anti-Semitic?
Can you try and rephrase that
Like,
in a way
just-
that's slightly more charitable to what you think I was saying?
Like it was like it's like I don't get I'm pretty I didn't watch the streams but I'm pretty sure that was like your point, like just saying it's like I don't get how that list could be anti
Okay.
saying Sabra
The
Hummus
list that went from Arab at the top to Sabra loves enjoyer at the bottom.
love Sabra, which
Love Sabra,
they're
yeah,
obviously referring to hummus, not
Okay,
the
I
other.
want I know they're referring to the hummus. Don't worry, the Israeli produced hummus. I want to try. Okay, come in.
Good luck.
Okay, why do you think someone would think that was anti-Semitic?
I'll tell you why I don't think it's anti-Semitic. First of all, Sabra hummus is like it doesn't taste bad because it's Israeli or like thing. Even pro-Israel people can accept that it tastes pretty shit and it's not comparable to homemade hummus.
Yeah,
And
but no brand
yeah,
hummus is comparable to homemade.
Yeah,
It's
not-
about as good as just about any other store brand hummus. It's maybe a bit worse than some. It's better than others. It's better than Cedars, by the way. Cedars is fucking shit, and everyone agreed. Even though it's like supposed to be the Lebanese one with the
hummus?
tree. Yeah.
Man, it looks like a fucking tortilla, dude.
And Sabra in the UK is just better than Sainsbury's Co-op or Asda or anything, unfortunately. But
Sabra is not okay. Sabra is not as bad as these people made it out to be. Because the reality is, these people probably never had any like mass-produced hummus other than Sabra.
okay,
if
fucking
they're
food
talking
takes though.
Sabra.
The question is, why do you think someone would say that that list is anti-Semitic?
It's something Denham said.
saying was
No, it's nothing. It's nothing that Denham said. It's nothing Denham said.
Zionist?
Yeah, but it's nothing. It's nothing she said. It's not about that. Yeah, Zionist is just that's just another hummus brand. Don't worry.
Shit. Yeah, I honestly I don't see how it's anti-Semitic. I don't know how.
Okay. So people who justify doing that will say there's this whole thing. I don't know why it's a thing, okay, but it's a thing amongst the often like people in America, I guess, maybe a lot of Arab diaspora, to say that there's to exaggerate how much they don't like Sabra hummus, or to this kind of like idea of saying that Sabra hummus is really, really shit. And what they're trying to say, and even Hasan will kind of go into this because they say it's like a co-opted food. It's like people who don't belong in the region stealing the culture of the people who do come from the region and repackaging it, saying it's theirs, but doing a shit version of it. Do you disagree with anything I just said?
Some people think that, but how do you know like the people on the panel just didn't say love Sabra for it being just shit hummus?
Because the panel went from Arab to love Sabra. It went from
Hang
Arab
on.
at the top
Yeah,
to
well-
love Sabra. So they're saying that like this
LonerBox.
Israeli-produced hummus is something different. Like there's Arabs who
Well,
know
like-
Arabs know good hummus when they make good hummus, whereas Sabra Israelis they make bad hummus because they're the colonizers.
No, they could just say Sabra's bad hummus for just tasting shit, not for it being Israeli or Jewish.
Okay. Do you seriously think that they just randomly? So if I did Arab to loves Cedar's hummus, that would have been. You think that would be just as likely? Because Cedar's is shit, and I'll say that as a Lebanese person who's been to Lebanon.
Well, Sabra's extra shit for supporting the Israeli apartheid.
So you just proved his
hang on,
point.
hang on. Do I need to actually find clips of people saying that like the problem with Sabra is like it's a colonizer taking the? I think you know this. I think you know what they're saying. They're saying that Israel is a bunch of fucking white colonizers from Europe who arrived in the Middle East. They saw people eating hummus and they said, "Oh, how quaint!" And then they shot them all and stole the fucking hummus recipe and made it shit and sold it to Westerners.
According to my town's
Yeah,
history,
some
that is
I
both
could
correct.
definitely see how some people
Yeah.
see it that way.
And do you see why that's anti-Semitic?
Yeah. I don't know if the people on the panel saw it that way, or if they were just saying it's shit hummus, but
Wait, LonerBox,
That's-
was it about who could say Habibi
that's
too,
enough.
right?
Yeah, it was about who gets the Habibi pass.
What
Arab,
is- what
Arab
is Hab-
coded. Yeah, you're distinguishing. You're saying that like there's
Wait,
one group here that belongs in the region that knows the culture and everything, and there's another group that are outsiders who don't belong, and the other group is
What does
Israelis.
Habibi mean again?
Even though the reason Israelis eat fucking hummus is because more than half of them come from the Middle East. Anyway,
yeah, and Ashkenazi
what does
Jews,
that
I mean,
they
like,
can obviously
baby?
just eat hummus.
Habibi, right? Thought I meant
Well,
like I love you
anyways.
some shit.
Well, anyways, man, this was a pretty long talk. Sorry for coming in heated, but
what are your reflections on this so far? I guess it's probably more of my content than
I'm
you've ever
also
seen
curious.
from through other
As the-
people.
my
As a-
reflection, I still, I think if the Houthi should change tactics, and when they do, if they change tactics and just support, target Israeli and American ships and no ships like going like humanitarian aid, I'd support that. So right now I'd support that definitely. Because I think a blockade on it for what Israel's doing now is good. And I last thing I wanted to say, Assad, I think Assad is bad, but I think he's exaggerated to be like this. Some of his war crimes are exaggerated. They definitely are, because the Syrian human rights group is funded by like Saudi Arabia and America, who who do all this propaganda, and there's a whole Wikipedia about it, how they put like 1.25 billion into an anti-Assad TV channel.
You don't think? Do you think it's fake that Assad used chemical weapons?
No, but I do think they exaggerate.
Do you think him and Hezbollah, the Assad forces and Hezbollah, used surrender or starve tactics, where they would circle entire places and just not let any aid in, to the point
Well,
that?
Amnesty International says that, so yeah, I believe it.
Alright.
But I also think that comparing Muslim creators to Osama bin Laden, it does have. If you think doing that tier list was bad, and you don't think comparing Hassan, who's an open Muslim, even though
Wait,
like,
which
he's
Muslim
got-
creators being
Oh,
compared to bin Laden? Hassan.
He's talking about the Dan can't
Oh.
shrink.
Oh.
Where it
So
showed
yeah,
Osama
and
bin
that comes
Laden
from
and
the
Hassan.
openly
Okay,
It's the
Islamic.
So this is the problem. Okay, first of all, Hassan is like the least Muslim. He's like a non-practicing. He's what do you mean open? Yeah. Anyway,
But his name, he
If
has a
we're-
Muslim name.
okay, he has a
Two tones.
Muslim name. I
He
have
has
a
an
yeah.
he has
Okay,
an Arab name.
I have an Arab name, or like actually, most people who have my name are Muslim. So yeah, fucking. If we're talking
Most of the
about
people that have your name are
okay,
also
at
Lebanese.
what point is someone allowed to say that America deserved 9/11 and then not get occasionally compared to bin Laden? I don't know. It's like, how's that Islamophobic?
It's like, I just don't think you should be comparing Muslim people to Osama. Muslim
You
people
shouldn't.
aren't
You're right.
terrorists.
You're right. You
But it's
shouldn't.
okay to
That's
compare.
not-
But it's okay to compare Jews to Nazis. Like you just came into the start of
No,
this
you
call
shouldn't
comparing
say Jews.
Israelis who are Jewish to Nazis.
No, you shouldn't compare Jews who aren't Nazis to Nazis.
Yeah, but no one.
But
How many
Hassan-
Nazis are there in Israel? Do you think there are people who actually believe in
Yes,
Nazism
there are
in Israel?
Nazis. Ben-Gvir is like a neo-Nazi fascist. There are Nazis. Well, and like a lot of the Israeli government. Well, no, they're not.
Wait,
no,
what do you
no,
think
no.
about Ahmed Tibi? Do you think he's a Nazi?
Isn't that guy an Arab politician? Well, he might be a Nazi. I don't know. He might hold anti-Semitic views. He might be a Nazi. He might be like a Nick Funt.
Fuck, I need
Destiny's
a less Arab name to trick him into it.
Destiny's best friend, Nick Fuentes type Nazi. I don't know.
Do you think Hussein al-Houthi was a Nazi?
Hussein al-Houthi. The first leader of
Houthis.
of the Ansar Allah movement.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he was a Nazi. Well, based off his writings, yeah, I'd classify him as like far right in that realm. I'd classify
Houthi's
him
an
as a
Arab
Nazi.
name? Oh, man.
That's how they got their name.
I don't know about the current leader of the Ansar Allah movement.
I wouldn't
But
normally compare
seen
a Muslim
people
to
in the
bin
Ansar Allah
Laden because obviously you shouldn't do that unless they're saying or doing things that are
Yeah, I don't think
a bit
Hasan
bin Laden-esque.
I don't think Hassan's getting compared to Osama bin Laden because he's Muslim. I think he's getting compared to.
Well, no,
bin
I think that
Laden.
is a fact. I think
No,
that
yeah,
is
that is a
like
thing.
Omar
Absolutely,
Saadi.
I've been compared to
Omar Saadi,
Osama bin Laden
like
by
he's
random people too. Don't worry, we already know. Muslims
Yeah.
that live in the Middle East already know this. I'm just saying,
and-
I don't think if a creator is calling Hassan Osama bin Laden, it's not because he's outwardly Muslim. It's probably because he fucking
I think it plays a
America
factor,
deserves. Maybe it plays
think-
a fact, but it's not something that you can verify like easily. Unless the person's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's because he's Muslim, then yeah, sure. But if the guy's just saying it, you can't say it's because he's Muslim. No, it
Well, I'm
might
just-
be, but
Yeah.
it's probably has to do a lot more with the fact that he said America deserved 9/11.
Yeah. I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me because Diddy G's community is you could go into the Reddit threads. They're big Sam Harris fans. They're the Diddy G Diddy G's
is.
Diddy
Yeah, but
G's
we're
community,
not-
Destiny, is an open Islamophobe, and it wouldn't surprise me.
First
and all
off,
the shit they've
this
said
is
about
one
Muslims.
thing I
This
wanted
isn't
to say.
Destiny's community.
Yeah,
Other
like
than
if
that,
people
they
who come
make
from
that
that community,
community.
if people who come from that community into here who espouse Islamophobic views, we ban them.
Yeah, I'm saying this community is not Islam. This community doesn't seem like an over Islamophobic community. Diddy
Just a
G's
covert one.
community.
Islamophobic.
You know what? I am. You know what?
Just a
I
secret
am.
one.
You know what?
But I do want to just tell you to like highlight something. I don't think Destiny is Islamophobic. He's anti-religion overall. He's an atheist.
No, he definitely singles out Muslims. Like if you've seen his tweets and like how he says Pallywood and how he said like in the video he said, "Oh, remember these people are the people that do suicide bombings."
I've also seen
Like,
clips of him calling Catholics pedophiles. Like, what does that mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Or calling
He's just
Jews
whatever.
Yiddies.
Oh God! Or making fun of the hostage clock. I don't think
God.
any of you
Yeah.
cared about that, did you?
Well, I find that too edgy. He's too edgy for
I think
me.
he said if October 7th happened in the West Bank, he would laugh. Not he wouldn't care, he
Oh,
would laugh.
Oh,
he would.
yeah.
He would laugh.
Yeah, but people
he
say
said he
that,
would.
but
He said he wouldn't have
Probably
ever learned about the conflict if it happened.
Yeah, it happened to the sailors. You know, that's my take to, you know, if October 7th happened to the sailors, I wouldn't care.
But yeah, no, like obviously you guys would never mention the shit he said about Israel or Israelis or made fun of Israelis or
he's
Jews.
just very edgy.
Because, yeah, he's an edgy person and he says edgy shit and he's an atheist and he's anti-religion. So shit like that, being anti-religion will bleed over to saying Islamophobic comments. I don't
Yeah, but I
necessarily
don't
think
get,
you're
like, why he doesn't-
exclusively Islamophobic. So you're anti-religion.
I love how the contrast here, by the way, if we're talking about bigger creators, it's like you'll tolerate someone who openly supports and does propaganda for, because I can show you examples of that as well, does propaganda for some of the most like anti-Semitic people in the fucking region, like the Houthis or
They're musical
Hezbollah.
people.
But for Destiny, it's like, oh, he said some edgy shit about fucking Muslims, or
But,
because
like,
he thinks
Hasan doesn't say he's
there are cases of
openly
Pallywood.
anti-Semitic.
Hmm?
Hassan doesn't openly like equivalent for Islamophobia and Jewish being
Okay.
bigoted towards Jewish
If
people.
I
Hassan
if I
never-
hold on, dude, if I showed you a video of IDF soldiers like shooting grenades into Gaza, and I was like, these people make really good challah. Do you think I'm like doing something here? Like, what do you think the purpose of me mentioning that they're doing? They make good bread, like good challah bread, is like what's the purpose of it? While the video is them
Propaganda,
shooting guns or talking about World War II or erasing Gaza, like what do you think is the point of me talking about something positive they do?
I think Stephen.
to make them look in a better
More
light,
tolerable,
you know.
right? That's
No.
exactly what he did on stream. He's talking about how good they are at music when they're talking about starting a World War II or World War III.
Yeah, but
Oh my
that
God,
was
why-
related to me as
why are
well,
you putting
Juice.
that
was
up?
related to Saudi Arabia.
Because he even he was praying. He learned how to pray like a Muslim in
Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up.
in
At the end of the day,
Palestine.
he was like Allah Akbar, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's in prone position. You know.
That's what Sev said, by
Well,
the way.
that's
Sev said
what
I'm
I'm
doing this instead.
learning
I think
about.
Steven's praying.
Yeah, but like, do you think like okay, like could
The house
because the
affected him.
LSF read of him like saying he's openly Islamophobic, people were like saying base. Do you think if Hassan said he's openly anti-Semitic and that was a LSF thread, do you think people would be saying base? No, there's like that's the double standard. Like somebody can't edgy joke saying they're openly anti-Semitic, which you should get punished for that.
Well, the thing is, he could say the problem is with the left is that he could say really anti-Semitic shit and just say, "Oh, it's about Zionists," and then people would say, "Oh, it's
But
okay."
he doesn't. Okay, but like I'm saying, the problem with liberals is somebody can say they're openly Islamophobic, which
I don't know if you
Wait,
realize.
fuck me. Sorry, I just noticed something. Hang on.
What?
What was your
What?
handle? Because your name's okay. Hang on.
It's two-tone. Fucking.
Who's doing this?
Bro, that's not me, bro.
I think
It's
his
one of
name's
the mods.
changed like 9
It's one
times.
of
I
the
think
mods,
the
bro.
Walmart thing was fine, but this. Hang on. Where's
It's
the?
one of the mods,
oh
dude.
please barrel bomb.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Thank
Yeah,
you.
they changed my.
Who the fuck did
thing.
that?
Well, anyways,
It's one of the mods.
Is this the same
guys,
person as?
No, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's Bambi this time.
Huh.
Let's see.
This community is full of Bin Ladens. What the fuck?
Yo, well, hold on.
And
First
they're all
off,
white. Whoever's
first
doing
off,
it.
the one that last did it was a Christian. Okay,
Oh. Whoa, hold up.
she's one of your people.
He
gotta
didn't because
defend
he
my
because he
Christians,
denied
bro.
Assad's barrel bombs. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that the appropriate sentence for denying barrel bombings was getting barrel bombed. Fucking.
Well, LonerBox. I'm sorry, and I do think you focus on like the enemies of the West too much. Like when you're talking about like Iran and like their women's rights. Like I think the West does this as well. Like you see liberals talk so much about Iran and their women's rights, and like you try to like say Saudi Arabia's a better place for women's right.
I've
you're
never
trying to
said
look in,
Saudi
like,
Arabia was. I've never said
Saudi
anything
Arabia.
nice
or you're
about Saudi
trying to
Arabia
look
and
in,
women's
like,
rights,
you're
but
trying to
okay.
look in one of your you're trying to look in one of your streams for like the equality thing and like thing. Why do you think Western media focuses on like Iran and Iran specifically when like for example Saudi Arabia? Do you think that would you agree that there's a clear bias in Western media and how they treat like the Syrian rebels and Hamas when they like positively, even though the Syrian rebels I'm pretty sure are more Islamic, like more extremists in like the religious views. I don't know if I'm right on this. Like HDS, I think they are more extremists in their religious views than Hamas. And like
Oh
there's
my
a
God.
clear
I think for the
double
equality
standard.
index, the last time I ever looked at that was to talk about what LGBT stuff. What does that got to do
Yeah.
with choosing sides with Iran or Saudi?
No,
Eh,
you're looking at like women's rights equality index, and like you're trying to, and
If you're
The
like
talking
women's
hold
rights.
on.
I don't think I've ever looked at the women's rights equality index, have I?
you did, but there was like it was like
I'm
when
pretty
that
sure it was about
Iranian-
trans issues or like gay rights.
No, we looked
that
at gay rights because Hassan was basically
rights.
saying that as long as as soon as the American bombs stop, then people will have more breathing space to fucking
Yeah, I
Then
agree.
something to do with the
have
living
gay rights.
conditions.
Even
right?
though
Wait, the
somehow
reason Iran
Lebanon
is-
gets more bombs on it than fucking almost any other country, and their economy's in the toilet. But they have pride parades in Beirut. Yeah,
Iran's pretty chill with the.
And the reason
like,
Iran
gays
is
and
in this
shit.
position, I think, is fully because of Western involvement.
Wait,
'cause
say
they-
that again, Spider. Say that again.
Didn't Hassan say something about like Oh yeah, Iran is pretty good with trans rights.
He said they were surprisingly good with trans rights. I think he might have even said they were better than America.
He has to be joking,
I-
right?
Yeah, he said like the pro trans even more trans.
You
But,
know,
like he
okay.
said,
Come on,
It's-
come
this is-
on, mate. Just
this-
like I'm
be-
not trying to convert
be
you as a
honest with
viewer,
me.
but it's
Yeah,
like
hold on. Be
I'm
honest
never
with
saying
yourself.
anything that fucking
Genu-
stupid. Okay.
Do you genuinely believe that Iran is better on trans issues than America? I like here. Listen, I'm a Muslim.
well, he didn't say
I
better
don't
on trans
necessarily care.
issues. He didn't
I don't
say-
necessarily care
he's-
about trans rights or not. It's not my involvement. Like it's people outside my
Oh,
religion do
man,
whatever
that's
you want.
bad.
It's
That's
the
bad.
people
You
outside
should
of my
care,
religion.
you
They
should
can
be
do.
pro-trans.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Oh, sorry.
I said I'm Muslim. They're not Muslim, most likely, They're people. They can make their own choices. Let them do whatever they want.
Yeah, Seb is
Yeah,
more
that's
Muslim than Hassan, so
Oh,
Yeah, I finished my prayers
Ooh.
today.
Hassan is a pure Muslim man. He has the most Muslim name.
That's why he
Hassan.
posted pretty much like a fucking like in his boxers on Twitter. Do you think a Muslim man does
yeah,
that?
true.
Some do.
Oh
But yeah.
no, the
That's,
haram.
No.
that's haram. That's
No!
haram.
What Muslim man do you know posts himself on Twitter in boxers?
And he eats pork
Well, they
too.
don't
That's haram.
okay. Sorry, we're
I've
not
seen
debating. Wait,
Muslims-
hey, we're not debating whether or not Hassan is a practicing Muslim. Okay, come on. What
He's
was
not
the?
practicing. He's cultural.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The
okay.
argument was about. Oh yeah, talking about whether or not Iran was strangely good on trans rights and maybe even better than the United States. I said before, I'm not trying to convert you as a viewer, but it's like
yeah.
I'm never gonna say something that fucking stupid. Okay, come on, like.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but I don't think he said that. He said like the too pro trans. By that, what that he meant like that in a sarcastic way. That like that like Iran like forces some people to transition, which America doesn't. And he said like I forgot what the clip. He said in a bad way, but like Iran forces people to transition, which is technically pro trans because I not like pro trans rights, but like what they like force people to transition, which that's what he meant. I don't know how to explain.
Wait, Tutan, I got a question. Do you have like any critiques of like Hassan or
Like he's no issue with Hezbollah was bad because he should have
any?
said like no issue with what Hezbollah is doing to Israel. He should like have clarified.
You don't have an issue with what
he
Hezbollah is doing to Israel?
You might get mad at me, but
Well, I'm
No,
about
the
to get
question,
mad at
the
you.
problem I have is that like these are, you know, that northern Israel. I can show you a map. These are mixed communities. This is like where a large concentration
Well-
of Arabs live.
Just so you
They're
know,
getting
just so
bombed
we're
too because
clear,
Hezbollah doesn't. Yeah,
majority. It's also majority of the
Still
Jewish
targets
people live in
military.
big
Don't they,
communities.
like, target?
No, they
Don't they
don't.
target like?
Bro, Shafa Amr had like their like one of their oldest teachers get fucking bombed by one of Hezbollah rockets.
Well,
The
I don't.
children
Okay,
in what was it
I don't
the Jewish
agree with the way.
community, the Jewish community in the Golan. There were like 20
Yeah, but
children
that
that got
wasn't
fucking
confirmed
wiped.
Hezbollah.
It
That
was
wasn't
confirmed Hezbollah
confirmed.
because they even confirmed it themselves before launching that they were launching, and then retracted the statement when they found out children were killed.
Oh, the
20 of them.
Jews. I forgot.
Like, listen, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but anyone who's like supportive of what Hezbollah does to Israel wants dead
Yeah,
Palestinians.
maybe I'm
Because
too
that's
extreme. Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
they want dead Palestinians because that's what they got. Hezbollah got dead Palestinians when they fired into northern Israel. Like they killed maybe
Okay.
2 Jews.
I
I think
disagree.
they killed 2 Jews. I think that was in Kiryat Shmona. And then is it Kiryat Shmona, right?
well, if you don't
The-
count the soldiers, they killed quite a few soldiers.
yeah, I'm talking about civilians here, like not soldiers. Obviously, no, like any pro-Palestinian abroad is not.
It's not
should
even.
give
It's not even.
Hezbollah
It's not even about the
position.
deaths. Okay, it's like it's about the fact that there are between 60, 70, and 80,000 people who, for the entire year, who were not soldiers, who have had to leave their homes and their villages are destroyed because Hezbollah, like, yeah, they don't. They
Yeah.
target both. They target soldiers and they target says like Nazareth. How many times has Nazareth had fucking fires going on, and how many times have there been sirens
Yeah, that's
going
the
over
famous
Haifa,
Arab
which is a
city.
mixed town? Like, yeah, wasn't there a fucking house in Tyre that got bombed?
Yes, theory. And
The
guess
fuck?
what? People that were uninformed, Teuton, from like I would say Hassan's community or
Whoa.
even a lot of people, right? Even some Arabs that live in the West that were celebrating because they just saw Tyre, Israel, because Tyre is inside
Yeah.
of Israel, but it's 99.9% Palestinian Arab.
Yeah.
And
I-
the
I can-
video of showcasing the house being blown is literally a woman crying and speaking in Arabic, but people are still laughing. Why? Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
they can
wrong.
tell it's Arabs. Like, I don't get it. Like, do you like hate Jews so much that you're willing to get Arabs killed for it? And this is what I'm fucking like confused
No,
about.
I just want to pressure. I want like but if we should give Hezbollah precision ammunition so they can just target military bases.
They have
And if they
precision
did,
ammunitions.
do
They have some. They've got
Yes.
like their mid to long range is more precise, and their UAVs are more precise. But they've also got fucking Katyushas, which you are
Well,
slightly
I have
less.
I have
Just
an
what they
issue with
fire
what
almost.
Hezbollah does.
Hmm?
I have an issue with their method. If they just target military bases and
I'm
they
not-
did it on the like,
I wasn't saying this to say that you don't have an issue or what. I'm saying is that people that like have no issue with Hezbollah doing in the north what it does to in Israel, like it shoots into Israel. Have no issue with Palestinians dying. They don't care about Palestinian lives like they claim they do for Gazans, because majority of the people that died from these rockets or affected by these rockets from into Israel from the north is Palestinian. Like the majority of them.
Yeah. Druze as well. Yeah.
Druze as well. 20 Druze children got fucking obliterated by
12,
Hezbollah
I think it was
rockets.
12, but yeah. It was.
12 was it?
12.
I was heard from
It was
18 to 20.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's 12. I remember the headline saying 12, but
Okay,
any
maybe I'm
number,
wrong.
any number is too high.
I think it's about
yeah,
just
it's
under
12.
50, just under 50 civilians were
Wasn't
killed
it?
in the
Wasn't that
north.
also the catalyst for Israel going into?
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's
was.
the other side of Hezbollah's thing. It's not just the Israelis that they harm; it's also the fact that they draw the Israeli army in, and they can't fight in the middle of the field like a normal army. They have to fight in civilian areas, and they have to endanger their own civilians to do anything.
Yeah.
So I think there's a really good quote from a Shiite critic. I wonder what you think of it. Two-ton.
But those
Newton.
Shiite critics are funded by Saudi Arabia most of the time.
Which Shiite critic am I? Which critic was I about to say?
Like 90% of them, like on Al Arabia, the ones that go on TV,
You can't say 90% of them, because 90. That means you're like, hey, majority of them that disagree with me, they are funded by someone I hate.
Why don't we just listen to what she? Why don't we just listen to what she said? Why don't we listen to what she said and then just see if you agree with it? It doesn't matter if it's Saudi funded, right? It just matters if it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just saying a lot of.
I think what she said was that just near the end of the 2006 war, when Hezbollah were celebrating all their gains, their propaganda gains, she said that that basically Hezbollah imposes upon you a meaning of victory that has little difference from suicide. Given everything that's happening in Lebanon right now, what do you think about that?
It'll depend. Are the Lebanese Shia happy with what happened with
I think that's up in the air right now, isn't it? Let me see. There's one poll that I saw, but it's probably going to be mixed. Also, Shiites are not the only ones in Lebanon, right? Sunnis, like Christians, their opinions matter too, right?
Yeah, but they're the ones who got harmed the most during the war. During the war, wouldn't you say they're the ones?
Yes, they're the ones who got harmed the most. Yeah, but also, it's again, it matters. The other people matter too, right? Because it's their country.
Yeah. They got harmed, but at lesser extent. I don't know. I don't know why if Hezbollah are so bad. I don't know then why most Lebanese Shia can't see them, and why most of them hold like their leaders as like a godlike figure. Because I'd see why wouldn't they?
It's explanation. They were an abandoned group of people, and Hezbollah took care of them.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Yeah. Is that why the worship Hasan Nasrallah? Like why they? Because
He's
from what I know is that
he's the leader of Hezbollah, and Hezbollah took care of the abandoned Shia population in Israel, in Lebanon. So of course they hold them up in high regard because it's the organization that took care of them.
You said you were in the Lebanese diaspora. What sect are you? Just out of curiosity.
I'm Shia, but I'm not practicing. I'm my parents are my like, well, I'm not religious. Like my parents aren't. My dad's kind of religious. Like he does just fast for Ramadan, but my mom doesn't wear a hijab, for example. So we're
That
not
doesn't
very.
necessarily exclude her from being religious. Like it's the prayers that count.
Yeah, but she does. She used to do prayers, but like we're not like a very religious.
That's fine.
Very religious family, and I used to know Arabic when I was young, but I forgot it once I learned English.
Yeah, just like LonerBox.
Yeah,
he knows how to say Qasim, but he doesn't know how to speak Arabic.
True.
Fucking dickhead.
Where's the poll? There was a poll that actually had a very strange number of Shiites not happy with what Hezbollah had just done.
Really?
I can't find it. Yeah, it was surprising, but I don't know the organization, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt. But I thought I messaged someone on Twitter.
Is it true what they say on Twitter, like what the Hamas people say on Twitter, that like Al Arabia and like the Saudi channels are pretty pro-Israel? Is that true?
No.
Al Arabia? I don't know.
They're not. They're not.
People like Muhammad
listen, just so you know, a clear thing in the Middle East, anything that's going to be mass consumed by Arabs that live, like everyday Arabs that live in the Middle East, is not going to be pro-Israel.
Okay. Well, they say like Al I don't know why people like to just say Al Arabian like Al
Because it's
Hada.
from Saudi. Because it's from Saudi. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. It's the
So they
same
have
thing.
no difference in the coverage
That's the.
from Al Jazeera?
It's not. They obviously will have difference of coverage, but for example, Al Jazeera will always refer to Israel's army, the occupation forces, or the Zionist entity, or they won't ever
Yeah.
say Israel, or they won't ever say the IDF. They won't. But some Arab channels, for example, maybe Al Arabiya. I don't watch Al Arabiya, but I'm pretty sure they also refer to them as the occupation forces.
Yeah.
Like regardless of that, they just want to like already have a pre-made excuse for this
Hating
channel
Saudi.
not to be believed. Yeah,
It's also just like I
because
think
it's
that's
from
also
Saudi.
from Mona Fayed's that thing about the Shiites situation in Lebanon. It's like if you're not with them, then you're immediately like you're a Zionist operative, right? Like there's always that kind
Yeah.
of like
It's
fail safe.
it's like a really bad like thing to do. Like here, for example, I generally don't think Hassan believes in majority of the stuff he says. I think he just
I think he
anything
does.
that's
A lot
I
of
think
it.
he does. That's the problem.
I don't think so.
think-
I think he sees anything that's like he immediately warps his mind into thinking something is right if it's against America.
Interesting.
No, I think
That's
he's
what I
showing
think is
prejudice.
happening. Because like I've never
I
seen
think-
him like being like on very much the right side of anything unless like it's against America. Like
Nah,
it's
I think
always
Hassan.
I
I think Hassan generally. I think he's just fucking retarded. Like I don't know. Like I can't. Like I'm trying to give him like the most benefit of the doubt. Like I'm trying to give him like the most like benefit of the doubt. Everything he says is either like anti-America somehow or I don't know, just like fucking retarded. Like I don't know what to
okay.
do.
So you basically said the same thing I did, but you just had to throw
No.
retarded in there. Like
Okay,
Good
so
I've seen the way he talks about like Palestine. He seems very passionate. He seems
I'm
like
sure
he
he
actually
is.
believes
so he
it.
doesn't
I'm
lack
sure he
passion
is.
for sure. I don't really think it
Yeah.
comes from a place of empathy though. I think it comes from a place of hatred.
Yeah, like
I think
I don't
I
think it's
think-
hatred.
I
I don't
think
think it's
empathy does
hatred. I just think it's like the weird
'Cause, like,
thing
he
where they
could've
have to
just-
fill up
he
their
could've-
identity in the West. They have to fill up their identity in the West to like be a part of something. Like for example,
He
these
could be slightly
a
more
lot of these
moderate.
Palestinians, a lot of these Palestinians abroad that live in the U.S. Loner, they think every village has like a Tetris pattern, which is like embroidery on dresses. They think every single village has their own unique one. Which no, it's the main places like Jenin, like El Qudus, Jaffa. It's those places that have their own signature ones, and then there's variations around it.
Yeah,
They-
I
but
know
they-
the whole. Yeah, I know what it's like being an Arab in the UK, and like, yeah, you're expected to be the authority on fucking Israel Palestine to any white person. And
Yeah, no.
you know what?
they-
It's just like I don't know how you feel about this, but like I don't really give a fuck about the whole like identity politics, or whatever. But like, there are probably like 2 times in my life when I've ever felt bad about being an Arab. One was when I was like 12 years old, or no, 10 years old, getting fucking because a bunch of kids decided that 9/11 was my fault. You know, I'm not trying to explain to them and shit, and then they like beat me up.
It's like, no,
But
I'm Lebanese. I
that
hate
was
those
yeah,
people.
that was one time, and the other time was honestly probably in the last 2 weeks because not really like because instead of getting people just actually engaging with my positions and critiquing
You're
them,
like a
whatever,
self-hating Arab.
it's self-hating Arab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you
And
love
no,
it when your people die and sending me pictures of fucking mutilated dead Lebanese people in
Yeah,
fucking
it's
bombings.
disgusting.
You love this, you piece of shit. Like, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Now take it from my perspective. It's not just that they say I love Israel or whatever the fuck. They also try to deny that I'm Palestinian. They start saying that I'm Druzy. Like, do you know how fucking retarded you have to be to think a Druze speaks with an H in Arabic? You have to be like copium beyond levels of fucking retardation to think a Druze speaks with an H.
Wait, Seb,
Yeah, we all understand
when
exactly what that's
when
referring.
you met Desi and LonerBox, did people in your DMs like called you like a self-hating Arab or?
No one DM'd me. I think what was it called? Every time I went on Destiny stream, I had like a bunch of Israelis try to hound me about some things I said that they didn't like. But none of the Arab. I don't think any of like Arabs reached out to me. I think some people in this Discord, but they're banned like immediately afterwards. Like tried to say shit like this, but no, I don't think anyone DM'd me saying like self-hating or whatever the fuck. I usually get that when I'm like arguing about like what's it called? They're like, oh, they're comparing Israel to like Nazis, and I'm like, yeah, not necessarily historically accurate. And they're like, oh my god, Zionist. or self-hating Arab or whatever.
True. I don't. What the fuck is this outlet? That's a Zane. That's a fucking. I'm not bothering. That's a ha. Okay. What the fuck is this? What does it say? What is our? What is this
Nida
outlet?
Translate, bro.
Nida al-Watan? Is that okay? Calling
Oh, it's a
the
noon.
nation.
Okay. All right.
Nida I'm pretty sure that's it. Nida al-Watan, which is calling the nation. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. It's saying that this is just after the ceasefire was called. That 55% of Shiites supported disarming Hezbollah. I've never seen a number like that's fucking mental. There's no way. They said a sample of 1,000.
Loner, and the other 45% is Hezbollah.
Yeah, it's the only way.
If that's real, that's promising for Lebanon. If that's real.
Well, I thought you liked Hezbollah.
Maybe his mind changed.
I kind of don't.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I mean, there's progress. I love this.
Yeah, and LonerBox, one piece of feedback. Some reasons people might call you Israeli propagandists, like I did, because like during the debate with Mehdi Hasan and Elon Levy, one thing you can criticize Mehdi Hasan, that's fine, but like I felt like 90% of your critiques were towards Mehdi Hasan, even though Elon Levy, in my opinion, does more propaganda than Mehdi Hasan in the other way.
Have you ever heard Loner talk about Elon Levy?
No, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that specific debate. I think I'll be quite maybe 2 or 3 reasons. On one hand, I hold Mehdi Hasan to a higher standard because he's a journalist. He's not supposed to be a propagandist for a state. Elon Levy is. It does his job, even though it's not his job now. He wants back in, and he told us that. The other thing is just like I think in general, I think there is probably a little bit more disinformation, just like raw facts and disinformation on the like current Western pro-Palestinian side than there is on the what we generally hear from the pro-Israeli side. But yeah, I don't know. Generally, I just like to respond to whichever arguments are being made at the time.
I have a question to you, actually, Loner. Do you think the BB files prove what Elon Levy said was true about him getting fired because Sarah hates him?
I don't know. I don't care. Probably.
Because according to the BB files, Netanyahu does mostly what he does because of his wife.
Yeah. I mean, he's a piece of shit for a lot of reasons. Like,
yeah, of course.
The way that he's treated the hostages as well. The fact that it's like that there's so many other politicians who are willing to meet hostages before he was, and the fact that he still hasn't. He's only ever blamed other people for this situation. Like this was his choice, wasn't it? He thought contain Gaza, contain it, mow the lawn once every 2 or 3 years, and just give them money and just like hope it goes away. And look what happened.
It's not just that wasn't he the one delaying the meeting regarding what was going to happen before October 7th? Like they knew something was going to happen, but he's the one that kept delaying the meetings.
Well, and I think it's also his. It's more or less his influence that was leading people to believe that Hamas had been silenced. That they had bought Hamas's silence by allowing that Qatari aid in. Because they all believed, thanks to Sinwar's tactics, that Hamas was actually trying to avoid a large-scale conflict. But obviously Sinwar was deliberately lying low to prepare for October 7th.
Well, I'm glad Tuton has shifted a little bit. But for the future, if you hear something from one of these creators, just ask yourself, do they actually where are they coming from when they say this shit? Like, you have to ask yourself this.
It's not even that. It's just like we know for a fact that I might even I don't want to leak DMs, all right? But like I mean, I've told Hasan a while ago that he can tell me anytime he thinks I've gotten something wrong about him, he can DM me and show me a timestamp and be like, "This is out of context because XYZ." And I did the same for him when he was reacting. But Hasan never watches my content. He watches other people's snippings of my content,
and also what they say about your content.
Yeah, like. But he's not interested in like open arguments. He's not interested in taking anything in good faith. Like he just saw, I guess, someone who's close to Destiny attacking him, and then like it's just the same thing. It's always like he'll just invent his enemies in his head, or he'll like summarize them down to a cartoonish villain, and that's his way of dealing with it. I mean, it works. It's a really good way to manage fucking pushback and to manage the narrative, but it's also insanely dishonest and kind of mean. Yeah. To a smaller
be
creator.
fair,
Doesn't
I
he
don't-
hate it when Ethan attacks smaller creators? Jesus.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think he knew like that you're anti him because you were anti like because I don't think he knew that like until like he watched the Bad Empanada video that like you because like he was still recommending you like until like recently he was like saying like 1 month ago that like go
Well, he's
watch
not
LonerBox.
anti Hasan. Like Loner isn't
He-
anti Hasan. He's anti like misinformation, right? And Hasan
Yeah,
spends a
he
lot of
didn't know that.
misinformation.
Hassan saw
Yeah,
some
he didn't know
thumbnails
that.
of Loner criticizing him and then decided to be mean.
Well, no, he's only recently saw that. He didn't know that until like 2 weeks
thought
ago. He
he's-
was like
I thought
still
you-
recommending.
Nah, it was more than
known-
2 weeks ago. I've seen clips. I've seen
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
thought-
him doing the thing where when he liked me, he would hear people in his chat saying things about me, and he'd say, "Look, I don't know. This I think this is just plain telephone or people lying or whatever," and he would dismiss it. But as soon as he saw that I was criticizing him more often because I think his conduct in the last year has been kind of reprehensible, then he would start believing things people said in his chat, and then going with it like that. But he would never actually react to the actual thing that I was saying. He would always be looking at either a small clip or a curation from someone else. But I think once he looked at thumbnails, you know.
Question to you,
Yeah.
Tutan. Do you think Hassan or any of the creators you watch would actually be willing to travel to Palestine and ask people questions and etc. and see how it is?
Mm.
I'm not sure.
I'm obviously excluded Israel because I don't think any of them would want to even visit to Israel. I think he muted his mic because someone walked in.
Look
I
up.
mean, that wouldn't even be difficult. You could just go to the West Bank and only talk to like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, would they come to the West Bank? Like, I'm curious. Yeah, I think he has someone in his room, so you're gonna have to wait for him. Anyway, I'm done for the day. I need to go get some food. Chat is.
Bye bye.
Bye.
I guess you can jack more people in.
This person
Just,
I know is going to be an asshole. He's probably going to be a lot more hot-headed than the this Teuton guy.
Who?
This Amir guy with the fucking Stalin profile picture. I okay.
Oh, bring it in, bro. Fuck it.
Who are you, buddy? What's your story?
Yo, Stalin, my dude. Thought he died though. Guess he came back.
Can
Yo,
you guys hear
Stalin.
me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
They should
up?
let
So
Mina
I would.
in.
I think we'll do one topic if you want to do that. One contention. I'm guessing it's a contention.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, let's
Only
go.
one. That's fine. So I wanted to know what it is that you're actually advocating for.
I'm guessing you mean in Israel and Palestine?
Sure.
I think Hamas needs to go. I think Netanyahu needs to go. And there needs to be a shit ton of international involvement to settle the conflict and draw some line in the sand that Palestinians can live in their place and Israelis can live in their place. And then they can have their states, and then we figure out what goes on from there. Maybe those states interact a lot, and maybe they soften the borders, or maybe they just decide they don't want anything to do with each other, and that's fine too.
All right. So you're against the right of return then?
I think it should be recognized by Israel in principle, and then its implementation would be a matter of negotiation. I don't think you're going to see 6 to 7 million people go to Israel. No.
But do you advocate against it?
What do you mean advocate against it? Like, should I say there should be no right of
What you
return?
said-
I think the way it's understood should be different. I think when, for example, you know how people say, oh, why did Jews get a right of return from 2,000 years ago, but Palestinians don't get it from 75 years ago? You ever heard people say that?
I'm not interested in that, but go on.
Okay, well, my point is that I think right of return to a country makes sense. Right of return to a particular neighborhood or house, not so much. So I think if Israelis want to do their thing where Jews get citizenship or whatever, like more easily than other people in their state, then they can do that. And I think if Palestinians have their state in the West Bank and Gaza, then refugees can go back to wherever the fuck they want in those places. I think
No,
Israel should take some
but-
because they're, a lot of it was caused by them. So,
No, but why shouldn't it not take all of them?
it's just completely untenable. We don't treat any other refugee group this way. Like the ones in the West Bank and Gaza, would they go back to Israel? Like the refugees from Palestine, and they'd be refugees in Palestine.
Why do you advocate against it?
Which particular group? Are you talking about Lebanese, Syrian, Jordanian?
Doesn't matter. Palestinians we're talking about.
No, it matters a lot, actually, because some of them have citizenship from a different country. Obviously, in any other state, you wouldn't be a refugee anymore if you had citizenship in a different country. Others are
No,
in what would be Palestine. So they'd be a refugee from Palestine that ended up in Palestine. So
no, but
I feel like that would be kind of solved by itself. Others are in Lebanon, where they're treated like shit and they live as second class, like not even citizens. They're just kind of like nothing entities living in slums. I think their rights are a lot more urgent. So they should probably get to go a higher priority to go and live in either Israel or wherever else they might want. So yeah, I think it's
no, but
contingent on different groups.
what you just said doesn't matter to the advocacy, correct? So
Yeah, the
what I'm
advocacy is,
asking
I
you
think,
is,
kind of dumb though. Yeah, the way that people talk about right of return in the mainstream of the Palestinian movement doesn't make any sense. It's like we'd never treat any
no,
other
but
refugee group in this way. Do you concede that? Do we treat
what
any
does
other
that have
refugee
to
group in
do?
this way? Yes or no?
No, but what does that
Okay, so
have to
why?
do
Yeah,
with the
so
advocacy?
why is this case special?
What does that have to do
I
with the
feel like
moral question?
you should probably have a good answer for that. No.
No, because you're asking something that's completely different.
That's the entire crux of the argument, isn't it?
No, the crux of the argument is advocacy, LonerBox. Do you think that because rape happened before, do you think that someone can justify the rape because it happened now?
That's a really ridiculous analogy, though.
Yeah,
Do
why
you
can
think
they do that? Why?
Mizrahi Jews
No,
are
no,
getting? Do you think Mizrahi Jews are getting
no.
raped because they can't go back to Iraq? Do you think that's
That's not
tantamount to
what I
rape?
said. Stop. What I just said, right? Why
Uh-huh.
do you say that you can't do that? Why did you say that you can't do that
What,
and justify your rape
that you
because
wouldn't?
it happened before?
It's not raping though. It's not. That's not a good analogy. What the fuck are you
I
talking
didn't
about?
say that it was raping. I didn't make an analogy. I'm trying to argue over the principle. Do you see? I'm trying to make a distinction between what is actually
Yeah, if someone raped you in the past,
a
you shouldn't be
fact
allowed to rape them
and
in the future.
description.
Yeah, rape is generally
Yeah,
wrong
why?
regardless of what's happening. Yeah, yeah.
Right, precisely. So you're able to make moral judgments. So the fact that
Mhm.
refugees aren't treated in a certain way doesn't mean that they should be treated that way. Do you agree with what I just said?
Yeah.
Precisely. So the fact that we don't do this to any other refugee doesn't mean that we shouldn't.
What do you think the Palestinian standard for refugees should be applied to every refugee group?
If they want to, sure.
So you think if they
But that,
wanted to, like, Mizrahi Jews should be allowed to go back to wherever their families came from in the Middle East?
sure, I think that should be offered to them if they want to.
And should they be allowed, and even if someone else is living there, should they be allowed to evict the person who lives in the house that was taken from them in the 40s?
Sure.
Okay, it's a lot of fucking Arab evictions you've just signed off on. That seems kind of cringe to me. I don't know why the fuck you
Yeah,
would.
but
Why are you?
but
I've already
allow
spoken
me,
to you.
allow me,
Sorry, I've already had this argument. I don't.
allow
Fuck me.
me.
Go away. Jesus Christ. Oh God.
It always comes back to rape comparisons with them.
Is what it is. Okay, why are there so many
It
people here?
is. Shalom.
Hey, I just wanted to like give you some tips about that poll that that guy told you about, like the Middle East Eye thing.
Hmm.
So like that poll, like has like as a result, it shows like 84% of Jews, like young Jews, still supporting Israel as a Jewish state. And if you look at the stats and you do the math, there's like a 21% overlap between those who sympathize with Hamas and those who think Israel should exist as a Jewish state.
Yeah, people are weird. People don't know how to answer questions properly. I don't know what to say. Fuck.
Okay, and the funniest thing, if you want to know the reason for that, is because like 60% of the respondents that they asked and gave that result are 14-year-old.
Oh, that's a lot of 14-year-olds. Do you have
Yeah,
a
that's
link?
basically the bulk of the reason why it says 1/3 of Jewish teens or whatever support Hamas.
Damn.
So it's just like a clickbait article, basically.
That's a lot of Hasan viewers. I'm joking.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just
Um,
TikTok like propaganda consumers, I think.
Okay.
And if you like go to the crosstabs and see like people whose like frontal lobe are like fully formed, you'd see that like 6% of them support Hamas.
Oh.
So yeah.
Yeah, well.
Their frontal lobe?
Yeah, as in people that are grown up.
Like
that aren't
your brain development, right?
Yeah.
Who's this person? Disinformation tracker. I have a feeling that this person's just gonna lie. Hello, disinformation tracker.
Shalom. Not a whole lot of information.
Hi.
What can I do for you?
Did you see the videos?
Which videos?
I didn't pull up any videos. What videos? Yeah, what videos, Lil Pug? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I didn't even have the stream on. I didn't want to give him the satisfaction. I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna stream fucking porn. Like I know.
Bruh.
I'm pretty sure that guy is a hardcore simp.
A hardcore
you
what?
might want to be careful. Fascist fajita simp.
Oh yeah, I know he is. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
All right, I'll drag him back in if you want to talk.
No, it's okay. He's getting banned. Fuck that guy. I'm not risking if he's gonna bring up like.
Let me do it. Let me do it.
Yeah, go on.
When you say fascist, you mean like a Nazi type of guy, or like a?
Yeah, like
I
a
just
bad
person. Crosstab, by the way.
Oh damn!
All right, talk to y'all later.
I'll look Pug.
Okay. Who is? Hello, Strong Doctor.
Oh, the Ethan fan.
Oh. Shit.
I love now.
I thought that disinformation tracker guy was going to start posting like porn and shit. I'm not taking the risk.
On the side chat?
No, just like, or you can play it through Discord, right? You can send your desktop audio through Discord.
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
I'm not a fan.
I mean, but he's part. But if he's like a Nazi, then it's probably like an insult, you know. Like
Who is this? I know this name. I don't know who we're talking about though. Nadav Zip.
Little Pug. I think he's Little Pug.
Hello?
Shalom.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, cool. I actually met you, LonerBox, on your trip to Israel. It was pretty cool meeting you in Destiny.
Cool. Where'd you meet us? At the beach, or?
Yeah. Do you remember? Do you remember a guy asked you what did you think about Mordechai Kedar?
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever. Anyway,
Oh,
so
is that
I'm
you?
kind of yeah.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a believer in capsule theory, and I assume you're probably not. So can you maybe explain why?
What theory?
Capsule theory.
I don't know what you're saying. Your mic is like it's not massage
Hold
quality.
on.
Are you like in the tunnels right now?
You hear me now?
This guy is definitely in this. He's definitely in the tunnels.
Excellent,
Bro.
actually.
Catboy theory.
That's the theory, like Catboy.
I don't know, bro. This guy's in the. Did he get murked? There's. No, yeah, bro, you're not supposed to go deeper in the tunnel. You're supposed to go out of the tunnel.
It's cooked, bro.
Listen, don't jump on Discord when you're fighting Hamas, okay?
True.
It's dangerous. All right. Okay. Hello, Metroid Man, sorry. That guy was definitely in the tunnels.
True.
Hey, sorry, I was muted. Loner, yeah, I wanted to glaze you a little bit for smacking down that Hasan fan earlier. Particularly when you straight up started calling him anti-Semitic. Really love your content. Really appreciate it over the past year or so. But like that's something I definitely like wish you do more, man. Is like directly call people out on that more. I feel like there's like this general kind of like hesitance to go and like directly call people out for being anti-Semitic, and it's like we gotta like lead them through it in like such a slow, agonizing way, and like exhaust all these other possible ways that they could be thinking wrong before we're content to just call them anti-Semitic. And like I get how that's maybe like possibly more convincing to some people, but it's like, do we do this for like any other like kind of hatred at all?
Yeah, we do it with basically every hatred. Like if you're trying to get someone to move their position, then can you imagine if you were debating like Andrew Tate or Fresh and Fit and you were like, you're sexist, you're misogynist. It's like, that's great for people who already agree with you. They really like that. But anyone else on the fence or completely against you are just going to switch off immediately. And I'm more interested in grabbing people off the fence. So when I have an outburst like that and I call them anti-Semitic, it's because I'm losing my temper. I'm not really supposed to do it. I mean, maybe it works better on leftists because leftists are more sensitive about being called bigots than right-wingers are.
Yeah.
But generally, you should be able to make the case without using like jargon or whatever. But I don't know. So work in progress.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. It's just I feel like I totally get what you're saying. It's like totally valid, and like yeah, like you're definitely never gonna like convince somebody who's like completely on the other side like that. But like thinking about like the people who are in the middle too, it's like I feel like a lot of times when people are going down these anti-Semitic roads and it's like they don't even know it, the people who are in the middle also don't even know it, and it's like that's what kind of like it's all scary to me sometimes, like how far down those roads we can go for all the people who like don't know the first thing about like Jewish history or Israeli history or whatever. It's like we can go so far down those roads before it's ever brought up how like this is some kind of stereotype or this is some kind of misinformation or something, you know.
Mhm.
Like farther down those roads than I feel like we go with like if it was about like other kinds of like racism or like Islamophobia or other such things. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good example from that conversation, but
Who knows, eh?
I would say like the tokenization. Well, maybe not like
yeah.
It's very easy if you can
Super-
analogize it very easily to things that they already know. So like if there's ever like a full-on tanky who knows what double genocide theory is, even though that's quite niche, then explaining the Nazi comparisons to Israel, like that would click really quickly to them. There's no way they could ignore that comparison. But otherwise, yeah, it just depends. You have to be strategic, know who you're listening to or talking to.
That's fair. I guess it's just like everybody. There's like so many more people who like wear the aesthetic of tanky, and it's like with that guy who like came in. It's like you could tell it's like he had absorbed so many of like the like anti-Israel talking points, but like at no point was he ever questioned. Wait, how many of the pro-Israel talking points have you even bothered seeking out? Like with the Sabra thing, right? Like. Dude was like so quick to be like, wait, no, the Sabra thing is totally not anti-Semitic. And I put a thing in chat. I don't know if you saw it. I was like, wait, hold on. Like, can you try calling him out like for like how he didn't even try to consider like at all, wait, why are people calling this anti-Semitic to begin with? It's like I kind of see it's like these people kind of get away with not doing that step where like I feel like they wouldn't get away with it. if like somebody came in here like back in like the Black Lives Matter era, for example, and tried saying like, hold on, no, like George Floyd definitely like wasn't murdered, and like if they came in and like they said, yeah, no, I didn't actually look into it at all, I just know for a fact he wasn't murdered, like we'd write him off like right there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like kind of like a different standard, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that guy was 19. I don't know how often people are genuinely reflecting on. And it's also just like, why would you? Like, why? When I was 19 and someone said, why don't you consider the Nazi position? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why? Like, why would I? But that's because obviously if they're primed to see Israel that way, then yeah, why would you? Why would you even humor? Why would you listen to the fucking concentration camp guards experience living in Israel? It's, yeah, I don't know. It's stupid. Takes a lot to dislodge that shit. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
He seemed to be somewhat receptive.
Yeah, but it's because I guarantee the reason that happened was because Sev, he realized he was arguing with a Palestinian, and he's a progressive, and there's a lot of allergy there to standing up to like people actually from the ethnic group.
Okay, but then there's also like those leftists that like call him not a real Palestinian because he's like not actually like pro armed resistance shit.
Yeah, but I feel like most of them wouldn't do that. Like, I feel like that takes an exceptional level of fucking evil to do that. I don't know, because I've been called a self-hating Arab a lot of times this week, so who knows?
Dude, I showed my mother the video of the Gazans talking to that Channel 12 journalist. Right? She said, those are not real Muslims. They're all lying. It's just like, Jesus Christ. I'm just like at that point, I just don't actually know what to do to actually get through to like literally my own mother about this specific like topic, because she's just so fundamentalist that there's absolutely nothing you can do against that kind of like brainwashed or like cult behavior.
Yeah, it's like every time there's a Lebanese opinion that my dad doesn't like, it's like they're either Syrian or a fucking spy, like a Mossad spy. So.
I was just wondering, given the UN's big role in Gaza, UNRWA, the role it's played in humanitarian efforts, has there ever been any indication to the UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
Not to us. I mean, it seems to me that all this infrastructure was built in a highly secretive way. I mean,
yeah? Is that a fact, Lil Pop?
بالعمل في أنفاق
Oh.
المجاهدين.
This video was published, what, around 2009?
منه إلا السمع والطاعة. بل إنه فاجأ إخوانه بمهارته الكبيرة في هندسة.
Maybe he's just fixing his mother's pipes.
I was just wondering, given the UN's big role in Gaza, UNRWA, the efforts, has there ever been any indication to the UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
not to us. I mean, it seems to me that all this infrastructure was built in a highly secretive way.
Apparently wait, Arabic speakers in chat. Is he is the voiceover talking about how good he is at digging tunnels?
والتدريبية والتنشيطية وكان آخرها دورة في سلاح المدفعية التابع لكتائب القسام. كان شهيدنا المقدام يتمتع بحبه للرباط المتقدم والرباط على الثغور في نقاط التماس مع العدو الصهيوني.
ولخبرته العالية وقدرته الفائقة يكلفه إخوانه بالعمل في أنفاق المجاهدين، فلا تجد منه إلا السمع والطاعة، بل إنه فاجأ إخوانه بمهارته الكبيرة في هندسة وتشديد الأنفاق، فقد كان يعمل ليل نهار دون أن يرف له
I'm sorry,
جفن أو
it is what it is, but it's just it's really funny watching this with that guy in my head.
UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
Not to us. I mean, it seems to me that all this infrastructure was
I'm
built.
too autistic. Like the repetition just makes it really funny. He said, "I dug the biggest tunnel like no one's ever seen." No, he didn't. Shut up.
In a highly secretive way.
You have fool me.
I see it as an observer. So I mean, it's to think that the UN had any understanding of what was, any information about those operations, I think is no.
Have you ever slept with Destiny? Only his mum and his dad.
وبعد ذلك تم انتداب شهيدنا المجاهد للعمل في وحدة حفر الأنفاق القسامية مع أخيه الشهيد المجاهد أحمد محمد الأسطل أبو حفص، وكان مهندسا بارعا في بنائها وتجهيزها وإعدادها لإخوانه المجاهدين، وقد كان مسؤولا لإحدى المجموعات.
They're talking about how enthusiastic he was. Oh, okay.
وبين
Gotcha.
يتفوق في الدورات العسكرية ويخوض
Okay, one more for the boys.
دائما وأبدا
شهيدنا ما شهد 2000 يتطلع للعمل العسكري فيطلب من إقام اليوجد
Come on.
في قصة
بين مسيرته
أنا أخيرا شهيدنا المقدار ظهور
قدرته العالية وقدرته الفائقة.
Okay. One more for the boys.
Play in humanitarian efforts. Has there ever been any indication to the UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
Not to us. I mean, it seems to me that all this infrastructure was built in a highly secretive way. I mean, I see it as an observer. So.
Yeah, is that a fact? Is that true, Lil Pup?
يكلفه إخوانه بالعمل في أنفاق المجاهدين فلا تجد منه إلا السمع والطاعة، بل إنه فاجأ إخوانه بمهارته الكبيرة في هندسة وتشديد الأنفاق، فقد كان يعمل ليل نهار دون أن يرف له جفن أو تنحني له قامة.
وبعد ذلك تم انتداب شهيد.
Okay, so that's published on their, the Al-Qassam website around 2009, 2010. Okay. What did you say again?
Has there ever been any indication to the UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
Not to us. I mean, it seems to me that all this infrastructure was built in a highly secretive way. I mean, I see it as an observer.
Yeah. Okay. What was that? What are you saying? What's Lil Pup saying? Okay, this is Al-Aqsa TV in Gaza, 2019. Okay.
لدينا اليوم مئات الكيلومترات من الأنفاق تحت الأرض. لدينا مئات كثيرة.
What?
من غرف التحكم والسيطرة والقيادة تحت الأرض وفوق الأرض. لدينا مئات وآلاف الكمائن التي لو فكر العدو أن يدخل إلى قطاع غزة فسيخرج له أبناؤنا، ستخرجون له أنتم وإخوانكم من باطن الأرض، ستتفتق الأرض برجالنا بشبابنا يخرجون لدباباتهم من باطن الأرض بالقذائف المضادة للضروع التي صنعت في قطاع غزة.
Whoa. The youth, eh? That's cute. What? Wait. What about?
Has there ever been any indication to the UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
Not to us. I mean, it seems to me that all this infrastructure was built in a highly secretive way.
Wait.
فقد إلا السمع والطاعة، بل إنه فاجأ إخوانه بمهارته الكبيرة في هندسة وتشديد الأنفاق، فقد كان يعمل ليل نهار دون أن يرف له جفن أو تنحني له.
Okay, that's just one guy though. If I go through the Castlight obituaries, and even the ones that I bothered to mention. This guy guarded the borders, planted explosives, dug tunnels. Oh, that guy dug tunnels. That guy dug some tunnels. These are, again, there were more. I just, these are the ones that I bothered to write down as soon as I noticed there was a bit of a pattern. Worked on tunnels. Oh, this guy. Jabalia border guard. Participated in digging tunnels and trenches. Okay. Another one. Digging tunnels.
Ever been any indication to the UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
Not to us. I mean,
Okay. Hey, what are you saying, anti-culture?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that video is like so fucking funny. Even as like a propaganda video, they explicitly like mentioned that there's like a Al Qassam like tunnel digging division, and that he was exceptionally good at it.
Yeah. That he was enthusiastic about it, right?
Well, it says that he surprised them with how enthusiastic he was, I guess. But it's like flexing about how good he was about like doing tunnel architecture or whatever.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks a lot for the translation, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to watching some clips, okay? Got some
Yeah.
more clips to watch. Okay. We haven't done it this way, hang on.
There ever been any indication to the UN that tunnels are being built under the city?
not to us. I mean, it seems to me that all this infrastructure was built in a highly secretive way. I mean, I see it as an observer. So, I mean, it's to think that the UN had any understanding of what was, any information about those operations, I think is clearly the answer to that.
I was just wondering, given the UN's...
It's nearly 15 years ago. This is nearly 15 years ago. Okay. Okay, that's a good clip, isn't it? Did we drag it out too long? Clip and ship. You can maybe do some cuts in between the pauses, okay? But I think that makes the point. Aren't there 200 kilometers of tunnels? If you ask Sinwar, there are 500. If you ask the Israelis, there are between 350 and 500. I've heard someone else say 3 times the London Underground in obviously a much smaller space. Upload this segment to your main LonerBox channel. Hey guys, I've been away for 6 months. You guys want to know? I've been working really hard, okay? And I'm delighted to show you this project. Of just a UN guy being like, I don't know how there will be any tunnels. I mean, why would you wouldn't publicize. I mean, come on. If they're going to dig tunnels, they're going to do it in secret, no? Surely.